Puerto Rican Winter League.
Aoki with 2 down and nobody on. And the left-handed hitter will take it outside for a ball. You have to believe if the youngster Chapman can get through this first inning relatively easy, it'll have a very real settling in effect for the young 21-year-old who has worked 1 game in the Classic so far. He pitched against Australia in a 5-4 win through 67 pitches in that game in the first round, 45 of them for strikes. Pretty good control.
Yeah, the emotions that Steve talked about that he will deal with, if he can get through this inning smoothly, then that spring won't get tight and he will continue to relax and guide that ball in there. This young man has got tremendous ability, and it's just about experience and especially the maturing of his emotions.
Okay, at the plate with a 1-1. Get your attention a little bit.
A little different outing for Chapman here. He faced Australia and struck out 7 in 3 innings. That's a big, strong, free-swinging team. Today, the Japanese team is probably going to cut down on their swings, work the count, and try and put the ball in play. Already 2 ground outs, and he'll be looking to kind of brush them back to get them away from that fastball away so that they don't go for that little contact swing and try and flick it in the outfield.
2-1 delivery, and he will miss a little bit down low. 3 ball, 1 strikeout.
You know what I like so far is you got a young guy with emotions. You know, the fastball at times he's overthrowing a little bit, but the veteran catcher Pastano going to the breaking ball, getting him to maybe focus, getting out in front a little bit more, especially going to the breaking ball after you throw one up and in to the left-handed hitter.
Okay, with that 4 for 12 and 3 RBIs in the first round. 3-1 delivery to him, and he is on with a walk. So a chance for a 1-2-3 inning goes by the boards there. Chapman walked only 1 in that start against Australia, and he has walked the 3rd batter faced here.
Well, it's a walk, but it's not a walk really on wildness. He's just missing a little bit. That last at bat reminded me a little bit of our friend John Kruk against Randy Johnson after that knockdown pitch.
You smelled fear, did you?
Yeah, I saw a little fear in the hitter's eyes right there.
1 foot in the bucket. Well, here's a dangerous hitter. Murata's pounded the ball for a ball club that only has a couple of guys with real power. And you really got to be careful. The outfield backs up on him. A little gentle breeze blowing out to center to start this game. And the fastball is going to miss inside for a ball.
Talk about the speed for the Japanese team. Aoki stole 31 bases last year. You know, it's a team that does not have power. We talked a little bit about that. Murata had 2 of the 3 home runs they hit in Tokyo. So they're going to have to manufacture. So maybe a chance to run here with 2 outs in the inning.
Pretty good lead at first base. And Chapman is going to throw over to keep him there. We told you about Murata's home runs in the opening game versus China. Hit a 2-run homer in the bottom of the 3rd that capped a 3-run inning, leading Japan's offense. Japan won that 4-0, and then the game in the 7th against Korea, another home run. The Japanese went on to win that one 14-2. Runner goes, big jump. There is no chance. Okay, with the stolen base.
I think the interesting thing here is Chapman has a very big leg kick. If you can read that he's going home or to first, you can get a good jump. And the other thing, with that big a leg kick, I think you can actually steal on him going first move, because the leg kick is so high. Even if he delivered the ball to first base and picked you off, the first baseman's transfer to second would have to be so quick. These Japanese teams are going to continue to push and push and push. Even with 2 outs, they have to push the envelope. They can't wait for the double or the home run. They're going to play small ball no matter how many outs there are.
They are 4 for 4 in stolen bases now in the World Baseball Classic this year. Taken for a strike. 2 ball, 1 strike count on Murata now. We will remind you as we go along in these games that this is a very different ballpark from the ones played in the first round, where home runs could be hit, where you had a much better chance of getting extra base hits. This ballpark is a pitcher's yard. It is not one favorable to hitters. On the 2-1. Runner's going to have to stop at 3rd, play at first, and a nice pickup. Enriquez hustling over after that ball bounced towards 3rd base and gets the out at first. We told you you would see some flashing of leather in this game in the first inning on the left side of this defense for Cuba. You have already seen it. Under the sun, officially 69 degrees here at game time as we go to the bottom half of the first inning. Japan and Cuba. You've already seen the style of play we're going to see. And we'll see what they can do here. Velez, their manager, second World Baseball Classic that he has managed. And this lineup for Cuba is a powerhouse as they come in with the best average of the 16 teams that started in this World Baseball Classic. Cepeda leading them in that number 3 hole. The starting lineup presented by 2K Sports Major League Baseball 2K9. But as we said, you don't get a lot of hits off this guy.
Dauseke Matsuzaka, he really tries to avoid contact. He has a wide array of pitches, and with Dauseke, you normally see a pitcher get 4 or 5 key at-bats in a game. It could be 8 to 10 key at-bats with him because he backs himself into a corner, but not in pitch selection. He'll throw anything at any time.
Yoennis Cespedes will lead it off. He is playing in center field for Cuba. They come in with a 3-0 mark, a 394 team batting average that outscored the opposition 29-9 in the first round. Cuba came away with a 16-4 win over Mexico, a 5-4 win against Australia, and then an 8-1 win initially against South Africa. Down to third, Murata will make the play, get the out. Cespedes retired. If you like defense, Steve, you're going to love this game.
Well, no question. The Japanese team takes a lot of pride in their defense, and a familiar name in center field, Kosuke Fukudome of the Chicago Cubs, plays right field primarily for the Cubs, playing center field here. And tell you how good he is, it pushes Ichiro Suzuki over to right field. So pretty solid defensive team all around.
Enriquez, who is playing at third base and batting second in the lineup, he's gone 6 for 12 with 5 RBIs in the first 3 games of the first round for Cuba. Takes a strike on the inside corner. This is just a great matchup. You got Dauseke on the mound against the strong offensive team from Cuba. It's a beautiful thing in baseball. Here's the 0-1. Miss it 1-1.
We talk about the contact offense of Japan. The Cuban offense has some power. Enriquez in 140 at-bats in 07-08 down there in his league, 8 home runs in 140 at-bats. So there's some pop in the 2-hole for Cuba.
A slider will miss outside from Dauseke. 2-1 strike count.
So I think the thing to keep an eye on Dauseke here is back in 2006, he only walked 3 batters in his 13-plus innings pitch. He threw strikes, attacked the zone. Since he's come to the States, he's been a guy trying to miss bats. 94 base on balls in the major leagues last year.
2-1 strike count, and a ground ball towards the middle, and that's going to go through for a base hit. Iwamura trying to haul that one in, could not get to it. Enriquez has the first hit of the ball game. Take a look at our Coors Light cold hard facts talking about the power of this team from Cuba.
Well, 11 home runs this year already, and they do have some power. They only hit 8 all last year in the 06 in the WBC. Some would say that's attributed to the altitude in Mexico and where they play, but if you talk to the writers and the people that have followed Cuban baseball, they say it's one of the most strongest lineups they have ever put out there in international history.
And here's one of the strongest. Frederick Cepeda, who is playing in left field, is a switch hitter. And this guy can pound the baseball. He's a good extra base hitter, gap hitter, and a power hitter. If you really pull one straight down the line here, you've got a very small area of a short porch down the line. Otherwise, though, you've got to pop one if you go into the alleyway. And that's true, especially down that right field line.
Cepeda, one of the most disciplined hitters in this lineup.
Runner with a short lead at first. Breaking ball outside corner off speed.
He is the all-time base on balls leader in Japan. They refer to him as an on-base machine over there. Very selective. And when he gets hitters counts, he looks for a pitch that he can drive, and that points to the home runs.
333 hitter this last season in his own home league. And he got jammed on that one. That may be trouble. That's going to fall in for a base hit. Runner will stop at second base as Ichiro will get it back in. Enriquez thought about going, but knew the arm that was out there.
A little different here. You see Dauseke hits his target perfectly, jams him, but that full swing jam shot is one of the toughest balls to read for an outfielder. Ichiro does a good job charging it, but that ball is read as a base hit, but with his strong and accurate arm, the respect for Ichiro that the Cuban base runners will have, you will see them stop short of that extra 90 feet every time the ball is probably hit to right field.
Well, Cuba's got a chance early on in this ball game with 2 on, only 1 down. Their cleanup batter, Peraza, who has done the job in that position so far. The off-speed pitch, and he was way out in front of it.
Well, Dauseke makes it bend left, he makes it bend right. He can throw the curveball, the slider. You see he starts him off in a key at bat. Not going to go fastball and give in right away. We're going to pitch to save runs. In this kind of competition, double elimination, you not only try to win games, you try to win innings.
Yosvani Parada has gone 4 for 5 with a home run and 2 RBIs. He'll take that one to left field. That is playable. High sky, big sun. Aoki is there to put it away. Runners have to stay 2 down.
Matsuzaka got inside a little bit on Peraza, and that was really a byproduct of the first pitch where he threw breaking ball away. Peraza thought, I better protect the outside part of the plate. Matsuzaka then came inside, jammed him, and got him to fly out softly.
And there are 2 down. So Dauseke with a chance to get out of it. We highlighted this outstanding player in our open. Ariel can do it all. I mean, this is just a great all-around baseball player. He's out there at second base defensively. Dauseke with a real bender right there. Picked his arms up, and that one came over the middle of the plate.
Well, men in scoring position. He's going to the first pitch breaking ball, and that is a front door breaking ball, not a back door where you throw it at the hitter's hip, and they're actually going for that inside corner. It used to be called a hanger in the olden days on the inner half. Now they actually throw it there on purpose, make it look like an inside fastball and try and catch the inside corner to the arm side of the hitter that's hitting on the same side.
1 ball, 1 strike count. He's seen a couple of off-speed breaking balls. Runners off first and second. No score, bottom of the first inning. Dauseke will hold the runner close at second base. In the dirt, good stop made. Jojima will hold that one out in front of him.
Very good block by Kenji Jojima right there. Seattle Mariners catcher calls for the breaking ball, knows it's in the dirt, got to block it. Smothers the ball, keeps it down. Probably could have stayed down a little bit longer on the ball, but because it kicked up a little bit, didn't get away.
Played a long time in the Japanese League and played very well. 7 consecutive Gold Gloves in the Pacific League in Japan. 2 ball, 1 strike count. Runners off first and second. High in the air to center field. Fukudomi. He's got him. So Dauseke had runners at first and second, only 1 away, but he gets the following 2 hitters. After 1, we are scoreless. Petco Park, home of the San Diego Padres, where game 1 of this pool is underway. No score, Japan and Cuba. Ballpark that opened to baseball in April of 2004 and has 42,000 seating capacity. We saw the folks out there in the grass, which is a picnic area where you can come and watch a ball game from up beyond the center field bleachers. We go to the top half of the second inning as the pitchers, as expected, come out and make it tough early on. And Chapman starts it out with a strike on the outside corner. Designated hitter has some power. This is really the other one of 2 in the lineup for Japan that you really have to keep away from the middle of that bat, and you can see he's not going to get cheated on the swings taken.
Ogasawara, one of only 2 players in Japanese baseball history to be an MVP in each of the 2 leagues, the Central League and the Pacific League, in 06 and 07. So put up some big numbers.
Ogasawara with an 0-2 count on him. Chapman.
And he's the complete player. It's not only the MVP, he's got the 5 Gold Gloves, the first base and third base. So this guy can do it all. I mean, the actions of a very, very good hitter and the athleticism of a great defender.
He will take the pitch down low. Good eye. He's had only one hit in 11 at bats. Does have an RBI here in the World Baseball Classic so far. A much better hitter than that. Played straight away in the infield and the outfield.
Let's break out of your slump against a lefty throwing 98, huh? In a nasty slider.
Nice way to go. Chapman with a little hesitation right there. Comes inside. Even when he misses, it's not much, and he's got his hands on his hips. He was not happy with the call by Hunter Wendelstedt, and clearly they want to settle him down here as they throw the ball back to the third baseman.
A very youthful reaction to a borderline pitch. K-Zone has it as a ball. Wendelstedt has it as a ball, and Chapman needs to react in the proper way. At 21 years old, the emotions of borderline pitches, and you don't want to get the umpire seeing something different than what you actually execute. You want to keep him on your side.
Well, interesting that Enriquez, the veteran third baseman, went in to try to calm the young man down on the mound.
3-ball, 2-strike count. Third 3-ball count that Chapman has had. And he will walk him. That is the second walk surrendered. A little more on the starter we're watching. Arestas.
Hello. Yeah, guys, I tell you what, Cuba's famous for a couple of things, and one of them is great cigars, and also the other is great right-handed pitchers for many, many years. This kid's kind of a rarity because he's a left-handed superstar that may end up going down as being the best pitcher of all time in Cuba. But one of his problems, as many 22-year-olds have, he has a tendency to get a little riled up, get a little worked up, lose his focus, and then the walks start coming. I was talking to the pitching coach Perez before the game. He's a very calming force type of a pitching coach. And he says that when he gets in trouble, usually he goes out there and tries to clear the slate on him. He tries to tell him about all the positive things that he's done, try to get away from the negative, because if not, he continues to stay in trouble. Back to you guys.
And against this team, if you put people on with the walks, you're really asking for trouble because they will run on you. And as Earl has noted, with the motion that he's got, that could be a problem. Ichiro, who is playing at first base. Runner at first and nobody out. Right-handed hitter. He'll go after the first pitch, figuring he was going to get a fastball straight down the middle rather than wait, and fouls it off upstairs.
Gary, in a short series, double elimination, such things that'll be the difference between winning and losing, and it could end up being something like Chapman's leg kick. It's a 1.75 delivery to home plate. Average big league is 1.3. Left-handed, as long as you're deceptive, you can be longer, but you got to have that deception.
You got him! He's out of there! There was one in deception, Oral, as he picks him off at first. He was going.
Well, Japanese baseball here in this WBC is going to be small ball. It's going to be get on with the walk, be disciplined, take the pitch counts up, move the runners around, and try and steal some back. And he was not even that far off. He was really taking a one-way lead, a safe lead, and just Chapman did a great job with the deception. A very high leg kick. You can go extra high when you're picking off the first because you want to give that runner time to get farther off if he makes a mistake on his read.
Boy, what a difference in the ball game that makes. In any inning, you get the leadoff batter, you walked him, and then you take him out on a pickoff. And he had him dead to rights, leaning towards second base. So one away, bases empty, and a 2-strike count. Ichiro hitting at 200. He's 1 for 5 in the games he's played in here in the Classic with a couple of RBIs. 0-2 delivery to him.
If I'm Japan and I get on first base against Chapman, I take a one-way lead, Steve, the other way. I take the one that's extra long and see if he can do the step-off move to drive me back. If not, if he lifts his leg, I'm going to second. And with such a tall body and a lanky arm, it might be hard for him to throw accurately with that back foot step-off and then a quick throw.
Chapman with the 0-2. He's not afraid to throw some pitches. Every time he's gotten ahead on the count, which hasn't been all that often, he's willing to throw one away, see if a guy will chase it or not. And not many of these hitters on Japan will do that.
Well, that's why Pastano is so critical behind the plate. We saw him go out there and kind of bark at the young kid to get him under control, but he's calling a great selection of pitches.
Fouls that one straight back. Ichiro has had 8 years playing in the Japanese League, a .311 career batting average, and over 625 games that he has played. Central League leader with a .378 batting average, 189 hits the 2008 season. 1-2. Jammed him. Did he go? No. 2-2.
But sometimes it's not where it lands. You see that ball, a slider coming in. He thought possibly fastball, give up on it. It's going to be a ball, and it was borderline.
2-2 delivery on the way, and the fastball up high, and a full count again. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
But we sure do see the emotions of this young man. I mean, you see his body language change from pitch to pitch. After the pickoff, you saw his confidence start to come back. Then he didn't get the borderline pitch. The shoulders start to slump.
Ichiro, like most of the hitters in this lineup for Japan, they're not going to chase pitches out of the strike zone. They're very disciplined. 3-2 again, a souvenir.
Now, really, you've had a chance to see Chapman throw now, into the second inning here. Still a thrower a little bit.
A little bit of a thrower, but I really like his mechanics. There's nothing extra special about him with extra movements. He's got a basic solid leg kick. He just tries to get it close to his chest. He stays very compact for somebody as tall and as lanky as he is. So I really think he's got a chance to really develop mechanically and get better timing.
And he will miss inside. That is the 3rd walk, and again he walks around the mound upset. So he has walked the first 2 here in the inning, but he got one on the pickoff. World Baseball Classic continues on ESPN2 tonight. Mexico and South Korea. The World Baseball Classic on ESPN2 HD will start at 11 tonight. For more information, you can log on to ESPN.com. South Korea, another powerhouse team, going against a team from Mexico that pounded the baseball homer-wise.
And a good pitching matchup tonight as well. Oliver Perez pitching for Mexico, and Hyunjin Ryu, who was the pitcher who beat Cuba for the gold medal game in the Olympics in Beijing. 8 1/3 innings, outstanding left-hander.
Up to 33 pitches thrown.
A maximum of 85 here in the 2nd round for all pitchers.
Neither of these teams will wait very long if you are in trouble on the mound. Jimenez, Gonzalez are warming up in the bullpen for the Cuban team. They know or expect this game to be very tight. So if a pitcher gets in trouble, you're going to see a change made. There are the limits: 70 in the 1st round, 85 in this round, and then in the semifinals and finals, it will be 100 pitches for the starters.
And really, for the Cubans, the pitch count rules are disadvantaged. They're in rare form already mid-season, ready to go even higher than that in multiple days, multiple outings. That's there to protect the American side big leaguer that's just headed into spring training and getting himself in shape and hopefully in game shape and ready for this competition.
Runner on at first, 1 out, no score. Chapman has already picked off 1. Boy, he stayed out there in that lead a little longer than he might want to.
Yeah, there must be some deception to it, because from where we're sitting up in the press box looking down, you can pretty much tell easily when he's going to first base, but a late reaction there, getting back into the bag.
Ichiro just kind of stood there as he made the move. And the pitch will be taken up high. Fukudome at the plate.
The one thing that Chapman does on his delivery to home plate that makes him deceptive is he actually kind of sits back on his back leg on his heel, which is really not good for delivering strikes and being consistent and taking pressure off your arm, but it's very good for being deceptive because you can sit down on his back leg and then kind of read the runner before deciding whether to go home or to first base.
He's got him guessing out there right now. And he falls behind on the count, 2-0, and goes to the back of the mound just to try and regroup here, as he's having to work behind most of these hitters. Fukudome with the Chicago Cubs. National League Rookie of the Year honors. They got him again. Tag is put on. Wow. Right now, Japan's running themselves out of the inning.
Well, they really are. One of the moves that Genio Velez made when he put his lineup together today, Leslie Anderson at first baseman, a better defensive player and a left-handed thrower, that in these sorts of situations a little bit better. You see the hanging move. He goes over, foot comes down quickly. Uchikawa just gets off like he was going on first movement. Well-executed rundown. If you're going to go on first movement, you have to go. The problem is that they've got some bigger guys that don't have the kind of speed to go on first movement unless, as you said earlier, Earl, they get that one-way lead, get way off the base, and force a throw.
Here's the 2-0 delivery, and it'll be fouled back. A very strange inning where there have been 2 walks and there's nobody on, and there are 2 down and nobody in. The last one will go as a caught stealing since the runner took off. I think the first one will be classified as a pickoff because he was leaning, but he hadn't started to run to second base. 2 ball, 1 strike count on Fukudome. And he'll take a strike at the knees, 2-2.
Seems like he's found a pretty good strategy, right? Walk him and pick him off. Hey, if it works, why not? Now your pitch count gets up there a little bit, unless you.
People remember Terry Mulholland, who had one of the best pickoff moves around in the big leagues for a long, long time. Completely different, though. He was quick.
Fukudome will take that one away.
Andy Pettit is more this move here. Andy has a big leg kick, very deceptive when he goes home or to first base.
What you were talking about, Oral, is that most big leg kicks base runners love and can go, but if you can hold it like he does, it freezes the base runner. You're just forced to wait until he comes to the plate. 3 ball, 2 strike count. 2 runners haven't been able to do that. Fukudome will foul it off. We may make some baseball history stat-wise if Fukudome gets a walk.
Yeah. And listen, he's got 4 walks already this World Baseball Classic, so one of the more patient hitters around. We saw that last year here in the States.
What a great impact he made on that Cubs lineup with that approach.
Check swing and back into the screen. He played for 9 seasons in his nation's home league. Hit .305, a career average over those 9 seasons with Chicago, a .257 first-year batting average. And Fukudome battling Chapman here. 3 ball, 2 strike count. Got him. What an inning. So the left-hander, the 21-year-old, walks 2, picks off 1, gets the other caught stealing, and strikes out Fukudome. Baseball taken very seriously in Japan. These are the headlines. Japan beats China, staving off without much run support. 14-2 in their second win. Mercy rule win over Korea starts with Ichiro. Well, wait a minute. Korea beats Japan 1-0. Japan heads to America with humiliation in its heart. Yikes!
That's serious stuff right there, huh?
It's too bad you advanced with a blemished record.
Jeepers creepers. Well, both of these teams take baseball that way, both in Cuba and Japan. No score as we go to the bottom half of the second inning. Alfredo Despaigne will lead it off here, the 22-year-old. A lot of young players on a Cuban team that's had some pretty good turnover since the World Baseball Classic 3 years ago. Seeing some of the youngsters, which is another reason why Cuba comes in as a bit of even more of a mystery, because a lot of these players haven't been seen in a lot of international games yet.
Well, Despaigne has some experience in the 08 Olympics with .382.
Dauseke gets him to chase one. Looked like it might have been away. 2-1.
Kind of an extra base machine. He's a gap-to-gap hitter. And Dauseke, using both sides of the plate, be a little bit harder to get the barrel of the bat on if you're going to chase those ones black to ball.
Despaigne with a 2 ball, 1 strike count. And he takes that one to right field towards the gap. Ichiro is there to put it away. Actually started in on the ball. Ended up having to back up a little bit. 1 down.
Dauseke got a fastball up in the zone. Despaigne, very strong hitter. We'll talk about the numbers. You know, their season's going on. 56 RBIs, leading the league in slugging percentage this year. So a real threat at the plate.
Dauseke gets the out, 1 away. Fly ball outs recorded. 3 fly ball outs, a ground ball, and a couple of singles off Dauseke so far. Bunt shown. Strike taken by Leslie Anderson, who is making the start at first base. He has not had an at-bat in the World Baseball Classic so far. He has come in as a defensive replacement, but did get the start today.
Well, that's why he got the start. Small ball for Japan. They're figuring they're going to bunt and try to do some things. They want a better defensive team in the lineup.
Murata's moved in at third base, even with a bag. He wasn't bunting there. Second base, Iwamura. 2 down.
Remember Aki Iwamura there at second base for Team Japan. He shifted over last year from third base to second base for Tampa Bay, the championship AL champion Tampa Bay Rays. And I'll tell you, Aki, just seamless transition over there. Only 7 errors last year after transferring from third base to second base. You talk about the reps that he takes and the discipline and the pride that he takes in his defense. Absolutely amazing.
You can't have a much bigger change in the infield than going from third to second base. Ariel Pistano will take the breaking ball from Dauseke for a strike. Pistano, who is doing the catching so far, fine offensive numbers, 3 for 8, a home run, 3 RBIs. He's drawn a walk, struck out only twice in the first 3 games played by Cuba as they come in 3-0. Cuba and Puerto Rico were the only 2 teams coming out of the first round without having lost a ball game.
Cuban team just dominated offensively in Mexico City. Pistano's a guy, veteran catcher. Talk about retiring after the World Cup in September this year. People around the club don't believe it, though. They think he loves the game too much.
Dauseke with a 1-1 pitch to him. Both ball and bat end up in the screen.
The interesting thing about Pistano and his retirement, some people think, you know, after 34 years old, catching every day in the Cuban League for all these years, all the Olympic Games, the Pan American Games, that he also has a very good 14-year-old son that he wants to manage and coach and bring his career along. And in some ways, maybe that'll lead to managing in the Cuban Baseball League.
Dauseke ahead on the count, 1-2. Pistano will take it on the outside corner. Dauseke gets his first strikeout. So he retires the side in order, making his second start in the World Baseball Classic. No score. Fans from Cuba on hand, 11 million live there. Havana, the biggest city, with 2.1 million in that city. And you got to mention Fidel Castro when you were talking about Cuba. Prime Minister, 59 to 76. President from 76 on. Then Raul Castro, his brother, took over in 06. Ernest Hemingway, the great American novelist there. The Old Man and the Sea, For Whom the Bell Tolls, largely written there. And educationally, 99.8% of Cuba's population over 15 years old are literate, the highest of any country in the world. Speaking of Castro, Antonio is his first name. Orestes.
Thanks, Gary. Yeah, with me is not only team Dr. Antonio Castro, but also the son of Fidel Castro, and also a big baseball aficionado. Obviously, he is here. Antonio, I want to ask you about this team compared to 2006, this new, brash, more improved 2019. ¿Cómo compara este equipo de 2006 contra el 2009?
Bueno, realmente las comparaciones en época son difíciles, pero este equipo tiene un poquito más de juventud, un poquito más de fuerza, son jugadores más rápidos, son jugadores que tienen un poco más de potencia. Pero
yeah, he feels that this is a much more improved and newer Cuban team. They had some older players back in 09, and now these new brash players seem to be, I think, one of the best teams of all time. Te quería preguntar sobre el futuro de la pelota de béisbol. Vamos a decir, supuestamente, si se abren las puertas con Estados Unidos. What if maybe, hypothetically, the doors were to open with the embargo in this new administration in the United States? What do you think is the future of baseball, and you think there'll be more major leaguers from Cuba?
yo creo que Cuba no cambia su juego de béisbol, y Cuba lo que está es dispuesta a enseñar el béisbol donde quiera, en cualquier rincón del mundo. Peloteros hay de calidad, nuestros peloteros están conscientes de la felicidad que representa para su pueblo y para todos los cubanos que habitan en este planeta, enseñar ese béisbol, ese gran béisbol que ellos saben jugar.
He says that their mindset's not going to change. Their mindset's not going to change. They're going to stay the same focus. They welcome the opportunity to place more guys in the major leagues, but they're not going to change the way they think. Tu papá siempre ha sido una persona que quiere mucho al béisbol. Me imagino que está siguiendo a este equipo. ¿Cómo está y qué es lo que está pasando con Fidel Castro? I wanted to ask him about his father. He's a big baseball fan, and what is his thoughts on this new team?
Estamos en un campeonato de béisbol y todo cubano ama el béisbol, y por la sangre de cada cubano corre el béisbol. Así que, como un cubano más y como todos los cubanos que habitamos en este planeta, estamos felices con la actuación de nuestro equipo y nuestro pueblo. Todos somos parte de ese pueblo. Está feliz de ver a sus muchachos jugar.
He says that they're all supporting back in Cuba about this great tournament. So, muchas gracias y buena suerte con todo.
Orestes, thank you very much. It's international news when you get to speak to Fidel Castro's son. That doesn't happen very often. You saw the base hit as Kenji Jojima got it. That is the first hit, and that's going to be the second one. Akinori Iwamura takes one to left field. Cepeda will get it back in, and Japan's got the first 2 on here in the 3rd inning.
Well, you thought Japan maybe could get a good look at Chapman the first time around and get used to the velocity and the breaking ball, somebody they hadn't seen. But here, the bottom of the order, first time through still, they're putting good wood on him.
So now Chapman in another jam, and another visit to the mound will be made. One to settle him in, and two perhaps to give the bullpen a final chance to get ready, although they've had the bullpen up and throwing for the last inning. So if they want to make a change, they're ready.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what Japan does offensively here. We talked about playing small ball. They've got Ichiro Suzuki, one of the best contact hitters ever to play the game up. Do you take the bat out of his hand and have him bunt and try to advance the runners to play into an inning where you can come up with a base hit? Or you let him swing away knowing that he's tough to double up because he's on the run getting out of the box and see if he can't pick up a base hit?
Or the other weapon, you could go with the hit and run if Chapman happens to fall behind. But the thing with the hit and run play, you have to realize that the pitcher's going to throw something close enough to make contact. You've got one of the best eye-hand coordinated hitters in the world at the plate. He's probably going to make contact for you. Maybe you don't go with the full sacrifice and you go to hit and run if you get a count in your favor.
This is the defense now taking a look around. They will move in at first and third. Enrique at third, Anderson at first base in case of the bunt, but that really opens up some holes for Ichiro, grounded out first time up. They got a chance at third and will get the out. And a timeout immediately called for. Good play by Chapman, who continues to be his own worst enemy and best friend.
Well, I'll tell you what, you talk about athleticism for a pitcher. This is where it comes in. This kid gets off the mound like a cat. You see, Ichiro gets the bunt down, an outstanding bunt down the line there. You want it to be a little bit harder to draw the third baseman in. Enriquez goes back. Well, look how quickly Chapman gets to the ball. Quick transfer to the glove and able to get the lead runner at third base. Outstanding execution.
Chapman has gotten himself in jams. He walks and a couple of hits to lead off this inning and keeps finding a way to stay in the ball game and prevent Japan from scoring. So runners now at first and second with one down. See whether or not Japan can find the big hit. Tadaoka grounded out his first time up, and he'll take the pitch inside for a ball.
That quickness off the mound from this young guy was so impressive to me, to see him move that quickly for a big body kid like that. That is what athletes look like on the pitcher's mound.
When he falls off towards third base, you normally want to bunt the ball to third base in that situation. I might think about taking it with me if I was Ichiro.
Tadaoka on the off-speed breaking ball. That will miss down low. And again, Chapman will work from behind as the count goes to 2-0. The 09 World Baseball Classic opening up with the 4 teams playing here in San Diego. First day of play here with Japan taking on Cuba in this game. Mexico and Korea will play in the ball game tonight. Double elimination in this World Baseball Classic. That ball's going to be into left field for a base hit. Cepeda up, runner coming around third, and he'll have to go back. One hop throw in, that'll load the bases on the third single of the inning.
Well, a high fastball from Chapman. He hits it off the end of the bat. He thinks he might get jammed. He's been real quick inside, thinking that 98-mile-an-hour fastball, I don't want to get jammed, but trying to prevent getting jammed, gets the end of the bat on that ball, so that ball dies out there in left field. The runner coming around third almost misses third base, gets held up. Very, very good job of the defense, but poor base running for me. Should have read that ball was going to fall in a lot sooner.
Yeah, I agree. That was a poor read by Iwamura right there. You got to know where the outfielders are when the ball's put in play. He should have known that was falling in, and by stopping to look, it caused him from scoring.
And that will be it for the young 21-year-old left-hander. Aroldis Chapman will come out of the ball game as he worked his way through a lot of jams, but not able to get through this inning. So he will have worked 2 and a third. He's going to be responsible for the 3 base runners on, as Japan picked up 3 hits off him, 3 walks and a strikeout. Ironically for Chapman, it was not the walks that got him into trouble. He worked his way out of that one, but 3 singles. The first 4 hitters Japan has brought to the plate here in the third inning will take him out of the ball game.
Well, you got a chance to look at a young kid. Obviously, great potential. What's your read on him?
Well, I think just the command of the fastball, what really gets him in trouble. Throwing that first pitch strike, taking the anxiety of the hitter because of the velocity and really putting him in the hole. And then fastball command again if he gets ahead or he gets into a jam, being able to execute pitches consistently. We can see that he has a great arm. We can see that because of the arm speed, he has a fantastic breaking ball with the slider and the differential of the speeds. But he just did not command the fastball as far as his location for strikes. And then you just see him, you see where the target is for Pastano setting up, and then you see Chapman continue to miss. He's just going to have to take that pattern and tighten it up. And once he does, he will be unhittable even at the highest level of baseball.
And as a general manager, I'm looking at this young kid stuff, and if he's 21 coming out of college, I'm giving him millions and millions of dollars in order to try to sign him to come into my organization. A young left-hander with that kind of projectable body and that kind of stuff, that kid's got #1 starter potential, and I'm telling you, I would throw millions of dollars at that kid if he were in the United States.
We'll introduce you.
Yeah, well, it was interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure they're going to let me get too close to him with that sort of report. But.
Well, when Arestas was interviewing Mr. Castro, and you know, if you opened up the embargo and things would happen here, you know, we get these guys and these players in the big leagues. I think he's definitely a big league prospect, and he's the type of player that you would take right to the big leagues and let him learn at that level. This is not a guy that needs to go to the minors for a long, long time.
So we go to the bullpen early in this ball game. Roberto Gonzalez, another left-hander, will come out of the bullpen. Aoki, the left fielder, has the bases loaded and only one away. Still, nobody has crossed the plate, so they'll be looking for the double play if they can pick it up here. Iwamura probably should have scored but didn't. Ichiro ends up at second base, reaching on a fielder's choice. Tadayoko picked up the single, is on at first. 3 hits on the board for Japan, but no score in the ballgame. The infield, of course, will play at double play depth. That was half an Ichiro swing.
Yeah. Well, interesting, when you bring in relievers, you want to change the look. And think about Chapman, you know, 6'3", bringing it at 98 from a high 3/4 delivery. And now you go to the drop-down sidearm and change the velocity and the extra large break. You come in with the same hand, the left hand, but completely different delivery and look.
Gonzalez has worked in this World Baseball Classic in 2 previous games. He's not given up anything. Walked one, no hits. Runner's going to come on this one as he gives up the first run. And a 1-0 lead for Japan. And an unhappy catcher holds his arms up to his relief pitcher. Iwamura scores. Wild pitch.
Well, there's always a danger with a man on third base, and you're going to go to a big sweeping breaking ball. You see Pastano setting up away, but the breaking ball just gets way outside, and Pastano can put his arms up toward Gonzalez, but the reality is that was not a great effort on his part to try to block that ball and keep it in front. He's got to fight over and be able to do it. You see in the Japanese dugout, Tatsuyori Hara, the manager for Japan, celebrating. Pastano saying it was way out of the zone, but he's got to try to block it better than that.
Now the infield is going to be drawn in. Slow roller, runners coming. It'll be a foul ball.
Well, Steve, you are so right on that wild pitch or pass ball. It's definitely a wild pitch, but Pastano has got to move his feet and slide out there and not just use his glove. That was a very lazy effort for a veteran catcher with his experience at this level, and especially the off-speed pitch. You can see with a fastball, 95 miles an hour, if it has that kind of, you know, wide, you got no chance to move your feet. But there, that's probably about a 75-mile-an-hour breaking ball. You got plenty of time to move your feet and slide out there.
Okay, with the RBI opportunity, you saw on that tapper, the lead runner, Ichiro, was going. On contact, he took off. Now a bluff at second base.
Well, infield playing in right here, and you see that a lot of times there's a runner on second base. With the infield in, you come off as far over as the shortstop there, but Gurriel saw that and tried to break to the bag in order to try to maybe get a pickoff or at least keep him honest.
1 ball, 2 strike count, 1 down. Gonzalez would like to get the strikeout right here. And he'll be outside. The center did have to go out and knock that one down and asked for the timeout immediately.
Well, much better effort back there by Pastano. Just a contrast in how he reacted to 2 wide pitches. One that cost him a run, even though it was a terrible breaking ball on the wild pitch that scored the run for third. But that one, he saved a run with his effort.
Aoki has 3 RBIs so far in the World Baseball Classic. Base hit here could pick him up a couple more. A big chance for Japan to take advantage of the singles. Out of the bullpen, Gonzalez. That one, right center field. And that's going to fall in for a base hit. Cespedes' throw will come in and be cut off. An RBI single. And a 2-0 lead for Japan.
A good piece of hitting by Aoki there. Battling, knowing that you've got to put the ball in play. And they go to the ball away again. He reaches out of the strike zone. It's not a strike, but he reaches out, protecting the outside part, putting it in play. You just don't want to strike out with a man on third, less than 2 outs. And good things happen when you make contact as the ball falls just in front.
Espana, the right fielder, I thought might have a chance on that ball. But neither center or right dove for it. And now 2 runs on 4 hits for Japan. Another visit to the mound with runners on at first and third and still only 1 away. Well, Japan taking advantage of some base hits. Want to remind you, it's the Netherlands, the Cinderella team of this 09 World Baseball Classic. They're going to be playing the USA that suffered an amazing loss in their ball game against Puerto Rico. And this is going to be an elimination ball game because the Netherlands also lost their first game here in the second round. So it'll be ESPN2 HD tonight, 7:30, Netherlands, USA. Mexico, Korea, ESPN2 HD tonight at 11. Venezuela and Puerto Rico, that's on Monday on ESPN at 8. And the Japanese-Cuban loser against the Mexico-Korea loser, that'll be Monday at 11 on ESPN2 as well. As the World Baseball Classic continues here in round 2. The power hitter, Murata up. He grounded out his first time up. Enriquez made a very fine play at third base. Runners on at third and first with 2 runs in the inning. And 4 hits, all of them put up here in the third. And the runs so far charged to Chapman, who's also responsible for the runner at third base, Tadaoka.
Chapman only struck out 1. That's the only strikeout the Japanese team has so far. They're really playing that small ball. They did run themselves out of some innings with pickoffs and caught stealings. But you look at it, they're making contact, getting jammed, hitting it off the end of the bat, but keeping the bat in the strike zone.
Murata lifts that one high in the air. Little breeze will carry it over towards center. Cepeda will make the catch. Tadaoka will come to the plate, and it is a 3-0 lead. Murata gets the RBI on the sac fly.
Now you talk about playing the game the right way. Even your big power hitter cuts the swing back, puts the ball in play. He's playing in a pitcher's ballpark where the home run is not a big weapon. He's in a situation to get an RBI with an out. He just puts it in play solidly in the air and picks up another RBI for Team Japan.
He has 6 RBIs now in the World Baseball Classic to lead Japan in that department, and has given his team a 3-0 lead. Runner on at first base now with 2 away. Whether or not they can keep it going here. Throw over to first. Gonzalez, obviously, as Chapman was, concerned about the ability of Japan to take off. If he wanted to try and steal a base right here, is not a bad time to do it.
Right, good running situation right now. Try to force the hand. Aoki, good stolen base guy, 31 bags last year.
Team Japan started out in the first inning with a 2-out stolen base. They're going to probably do it here with a 3-run lead. Back then it was 0-0. There's double elimination tournament here in the World Baseball Classic. Every inning, every out, every run you can get. So very important.
That's going to be up the middle for a base hit. Runner's going to try and go to third. Got a chance on the play. The tag not made. Aoki slowed down and deked a bit and then took off for third.
He did. You know, a base hit to the left of the shortstop, but also to the left of second base. Oftentimes you don't go. Ball was hit hard, but Aoki goes to second base, looking like he's going to coast it, and then turns on. But you see the throw coming in. Michel Enriquez, if he stays back in the bag, might have a better opportunity, but because he came away from third base, Aoki able to slide around him. See Cespedes right there coming up with a strong arm, but Enriquez so far away from the bag, not able to be there to make the tag. The ball travels faster than you can catch it and turn and make a tag. Let the ball come to you.
Great piece of base running right there. And it is going to be a base hit, putting runners on again at first and third. And again, we're going to see a pitching change. So not a lot of time being taken here as far as who's coming in to pitch in this ball game for Cuba. Whenever their pitchers get in trouble, they're making the moves almost instantaneously. Ismael Jimenez will come out of the bullpen, and Gonzalez will leave.
Well, Junio Velez, the manager for the Cuban team, you know, one of the things they talk about him, he's a patient guy, except when it comes to pitching changes. If somebody doesn't have it, he usually has a quick hook with them. You know, he's an interesting story, Velez, in that he never played in the Cuban Professional League. He went to the Sports Academy, which you get recruited to or you go to there. Started playing baseball, but they moved him into the technical side of things, the coaching side of things. So he has evolved and grown and developed into the manager of the national team without ever having played at the professional level. So it's all about his read and feel for his players and the situation in the game.
So the bats have been found here, and Japan in their own way playing that small ball that we talked about, as all of this has happened with singles and a sac fly to get the 3-0 lead. Closer look at Japan, over 127 million population, 7th in the world. Tokyo, of course, their big city. The iconic images of Japan, Mount Fuji, over 12,000 feet high, and the Great Buddha statue in Nara, founded in 660 BC. The oldest surviving monarchy, as the current emperor Akihito ascended to the throne in 1989. And Japan noted, of course, for the automobile production, more than 11 million cars a year, the largest automobile manufacturer in the world. And also noted for manufacturing of some pretty good baseball players that went on and won the World Championship of the World Baseball Classic 3 years ago and are defending it here this year.
Talk about the imports, if you may, of Japanese baseball into the Major League Baseball, starting with with Nomo with the Los Angeles Dodgers. And his success gave other Japanese players courage to decide to want to come over to Major League Baseball. There had to be a first. And when Nobo came over and was successful, had the guts enough to leave Japanese ball and come over and test his skills in America, it really opened it up for all of us here to enjoy their talent.
Jimenez comes on to do the pitching, a right-hander after 2 lefties. Runners on at first and third. There are 2 down. Ichikawa is the 8th man to come to the plate in the inning for Japan. He drew a walk his first time up. 3 runs on 5 hits for Japan. All 5 of those hits singles, and all coming here in the 3rd inning. On a breaking ball, that'll be on the outside corner for strike 1-1.
Jimenez, a real strike thrower, 22 walks in 108 innings pitched last season. Manager loves relief pitchers coming in and throwing strikes.
Jimenez appearing in his 3rd game, 3 2/3 innings worked previously here in the World Baseball Classic. He's been busy out of the bullpen, not surrendering anything. No runs off him. A couple of walks. Outfield straight away with 2 down. 1-1. Breaking ball in the dirt. Castano there to knock it down, and a 2-ball 1-strike count. Coming through the first round, this team from Cuba, it was their offense that got it done for them, hitting .394, outscoring opponents 29-9. Their team ERA was really very good, but it was 3.24. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, obviously, but they didn't have to pitch real hard because the offense scored so many runs in the ball games they played. Count will remain at 2 balls and 1 strike. had only one tight ball game against Australia, 5-4. The other ones against South Africa and against Mexico. They're really games they put away. 2-1 pitch. That's a high strike and a breaking ball in the inside corner. 2-2.
On the finals against Team Japan and Team Cuba back in '06, it was a very close game for about 7 innings, and then Team Japan broke it open and won 10-6. This is kind of a little bit of a pre-explosion compared to how they played back then. That first inaugural World Baseball Classic, with Japan breaking on top here.
2-2 the count. Runners off first and third, and swung wildly on that one. Ichikawa is down, but a big inning as Japan comes away with the 3 runs on 5 hits, all in this inning. Oki getting one of the RBIs. Ichiro Suzuki, part of the inning. 3-0. Out of the water they come. SeaWorld, San Diego. Baseball fans all. See ya. Bye, guys. Thank you so much for appearing, though. Barrett will lead it off here for Cuba as we go to the bottom half of the 3rd inning. Cuba being the home team with their 3-0 mark. Getting his first at bat, the shortstop. Ichiro now with a effect on this game with his speed and base running. Strike taken, helping out Dauseke on the mound, who has walked none, struck out 1. Daisuke's got the 3-0 lead to work with, and Ichiro, if he's in a ball game, he has an impact on it. He came across and scored the 2nd run in that last inning. And a pitch is inside for a ball. 2-1.
Daisuke been very efficient with his first pitches here, throwing a ball to this batter, but 7 out of 9 first pitch strikes, attacking these hitters.
Down the line in right field, and that is going to be dropped in foul territory. A little trouble with the sun right there. I talked about him too soon.
I think a little trouble with the sun, and the way he was kind of tiptoeing toward the line, it's like he thought he was getting close to the mound over there. It looked like he took his eye off it at the last minute. You know, the bullpen mound is right over in that area, and sometimes can be distracting for outfielders trying to track the ball.
They will charge an error on Ichiro, allowing the at-bat to be extended. That high sky, very few clouds, few puffy ones going by here. Well, let's see if he can take advantage of it. Brent will try to drive that one into the ocean, fouls it back, and a 2-ball, 2-strike count.
Brett, captain of the Cuban national team, received the country's flag from Raul Castro, the brother of Fidel, who's now running things there to carry it with them on the trip.
Veteran who's not a regular starter. He's appeared in only 1 game and had only 1 at bat here in the World Baseball Classic. Breaking ball taken outside. As we mentioned earlier, Cuba takes a long time to do their lineup. They surgically insert everybody after extreme consideration. Barrett will pop that one up in the air into foul territory. Jojima over, and Barrett doesn't get a hit here. It's not going to be because he wasn't given a chance. Ichiro was charged with an error. We'll see if they charge another one here. It's a tough play, but very doable.
Well, we talked about if you love defense, you're going to love this game, but I guess it's only when the ball's hit in fair territory. Anything in foul territory, the gloves are having trouble right now.
Kenzie Jojima wandering around over there, trying to get to it. Could not. 3-2 count. Barrett will foul that one back. The fan gets a chance to catch one. Something hasn't happened on the field.
You know what? The fan just dropped it, too. There's something going on. I don't know. He's methodically working his way around the ballpark. At some point, everybody's going to drop a foul pop-up here.
I don't remember seeing an at-bat extended by 2 errors in the same at-bat, and they have charged an error on Jojima. 3-2 delivery and strike 3 in the inside corner. He tried to make it look like he might have deserved a walk, but he knew he didn't. He heads over.
I'll tell you what, Daisuke has had outstanding command. Usually we see him pick, but he's had both sides of the plate working with breaking ball and fastball. That last at bat finished somebody off with a fastball. The front door breaking ball there. Then jamming a left-handed hitter with a slider and then dotting the corner with the fastball.
Leadoff batter Cespedes stands in, grounded out his first time up. Dauseke outside with it for a ball. No walks, only a couple of hits off him, and he has the 2 Ks. And that one will be fouled back. Just missed lining up a fastball that time.
I think one of the questions coming in was how aggressive was Dauseke going to be in the zone. I think he's answering that. I particularly like going with the off-speed pitches for the first pitch. I think that especially with runners on base in the scoring position, we saw Matsuzaka go to breaking balls, trying to counter the aggressiveness of the Cuban hitters.
1 ball, 1 strike delivery on the way. Shattered the bat, popped it up towards right field, and that's going to fall in for a base hit. Cespedes is on with a single with 1 down here in the 3rd inning, and really shattered that one, but no chance for anybody to catch up to it.
He's going to go away. The ball tails all the way back, and even when you miss your target, that could have been a target, a possible pitch. The fastball in could have been a good pitch. Maybe it's a poor call going fastball away. Would have been a hit. He misses his target, hits the inside corner with good tailing action, gets the busted bat, and gives up the hit.
That is hit number 3 for Cuba. One of those picked up by Enriquez in the 1st inning was a single. This is a game of singles so far. We have had 8 hits in the ball game. There are no extra base hits, and a timeout taken at the plate.
The one thing we know about Cuban national baseball is they don't give up. They've been so successful in international play. 48 events, have never finished below 3rd place.
1-0 delivery, runner not going. These 2 teams have met up 9 times in international competition. Cuba has a 7-2 edge over Japan in those games. In the Summer Olympics in Beijing, Cuba beat Japan by a score of 4-2. That's the last meeting these teams have had. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Had one to hit right there. Pretty good movement on it. 1 ball, 2 strike count.
Dauseke, for this point in, some people say, spring training, great arm speed on that breaking ball. As you bring your arm along in shape, you develop the fastball. Then when the arm's in shape, you start really going after those breaking balls, and that arm is in shape. That was tremendous out front arm speed.
1-2 is going to be popped up. No play, as that one will end up in the dugout. Both of these teams, what Oral's talking about with the arm strength of Dauseke, one of the advantages these 2 teams have in this World Baseball Classic is that both have played a lot of baseball already. In Japan, it never stops. The players all play 12 months throughout the year. Cuba, same thing. So both of these nations, baseball is the sport. If you're going to play it, you keep going. Ichiro takes batting practice all winter. He'll show up at the ballpark in Seattle and go inside and hit. And the arms on these players for both teams never stop throwing. Great pitch on the outside corner. Enriquez down, called strike 3.
Well, the interesting thing is the Cuban team did not take batting practice before the game today. They've been hitting a lot coming into this series, did not take it. Fastball away. K-Zone says might have been a little bit outside. Hunter Windelstedt says, nah, I think it's a strike. Enriquez says, I think K-Zone was right.
Now runner at first base, 2 away, 3 strikeouts for Dauseke. There goes the bat. An Olympic toss, we might add. It will just touch the outfield grass.
I'll tell you, that changeup from Dauseke right there is a pitch I think he has to throw more. He throws the slider. Remember we talked about he had 7 different pitches and such an assortment of pitches. He narrowed it down to his fastball and slider being his primary pitches. This changeup is so effective. You see him see fastball by Cepeda out in front. That's one of the most selective hitters in baseball anywhere in the world. He can recognize fastball from breaking ball, fastball from changeup. The deception on that changeup was terrific.
Short lead at first base with a 1 strike count and 2 away. Cepeda had a single his first time up, and he's going to get a single again over to third base. Cespedes goes with Cepeda delivering the base hit, and a 2-out chance to get on the board for Cuba.
Well, Cuba looking for some strength and a power and a home run. If they can set the table here like they have, you get a ground ball in that hole off the end of the bat, but finds that hole I'll tell you what, they can climb back in this game, not with little ball, but with some power. If they find a few holes with those ground balls and then get the big bopper up there like they have now, they crawl right back in this thing.
Cespedes now 8 out of 14 in the World Baseball Classic at the plate. And the pitch will be taken outside for a ball. The designated hitter is Vanni Peraza, who's flied out to left field and is only at bat in this ball game. Runners at first and third, 2 down. Matsuzaka. A fielder type cut, yes?
Yeah, a little bit, right? He's a big guy, about 275 pounds. He's actually a catcher, Peraza, but not as solid defensively as some of the others, but a big bat. But yeah, a little Cecil Fielder sort of a out in front leg swing.
1-1 delivery on the way to him. Not going to catch up with that pitch. 1-2.
Now where do you go, Earl? You got breaking ball away for a ball, breaking ball for a strike, fastball. He misses going up and in with it, but he can't catch up to it, although he wanted to crush it. Where do you go?
I'm going to go low and away. I mean, you can chase him back upstairs again, but you don't want to make a mistake with that high fastball with a 3-run lead.
1-2 delivery off the end of the bat and back into the screen. 25 home runs during the last regular season for Peraza. He led the league with 37 intentional walks. And you can understand why when you watch him swing and understand when he connects, it goes a long way.
He looks like a man who wants to hit a home run. If I'm pitching to him, I'm going to let him get himself out on my pitch.
1-2 delivery on the way, and he's gone. Off-speed breaking ball. Dauseke gets his 4th strikeout. No runs on a couple of hits. 2 are left on base. A 24-pitch inning, but he worked his way out of it. Japan. Go to the shop at WorldBaseballClassic.com to get all the official merchandise and support your favorite country and players. WorldBaseballClassic.com. Laurel Hershiser, Steve Phillips, Orestes Estrada. I'm Gary Thorne. We've got a 3-0 ball game going to the 4th inning. And the pitch outside. Ismael Jimenez came on to finish up the last inning, getting the strikeout to end it, as 8 batters came to the plate for Japan to get 3 runs on 5 hits. We go to the top of the 4th. 3-5-2 for Japan. 0-4-0 for Cuba. Cuba, the undefeated team so far, 3-0. Japan 2-1. Fukudome leading it off. Called out on strikes his first time up. Shows bunt. Take strike. Had him back at the corners.
That was really a tale of 2 seasons last year for Kosuke Fukudome. Great first half of the season, made the All-Star team, then really tailed off in the second half. Numbers fell off, and I think he just got fatigued. I mean, the whole assimilation into a new culture, a new baseball team, a new baseball culture. I think it took a toll on him, and he just lost some energy.
And he will take that pitch up high. A 2-ball, 2-strike count.
You make adjustments. You know, the advanced scouts in the big leagues, you scout him when they're in Japan. They brought him over here, but then when the guys start to really experience, I used to read the advanced scouting reports and think, you know, the guy's a bad breaking ball hitter or this and that, but I go, what about my breaking ball hit? And then you learn and you have those experiences, you make adjustments as a pitcher, and maybe he ran into some of those adjustments too.
Fukudome will look at that one as it goes by. And then as 2 batters face and a couple of strikeouts, Fukudome down twice on Ks.
As the ball does something very sharply in the very end, the hitter can't do anything about it. When that ball breaks late and in the dirt area right in front of home plate, that's what gives hitters trouble. It makes them flinch, it makes them swing and miss, and that was a late breaking ball.
Cuba trying to find effective relief out of their bullpen now to hold this team right where it is, and they need time to get back into the ball game. Kenji Jojima will take that one for a strike. He had a single his first time up, batting 8th in the order and doing the catching. You see the numbers that he has put up so far. A very good World Baseball Classic. Right-hander's fastball away.
I think, Judge, when you talk about assimilation into a new team, I mean, I was shocked when Seattle signed him to bring in a non-English speaking catcher, Japanese language speaking catcher, to handle a pitching staff. I mean, communication is so important.
That one to right field. Again protecting with that sun. Espana can't find it. Jojima's on his way to second base. And that's where he'll end up. Boy, the balls hit in the air have been an adventure for both teams so far in this game.
Well, no sunglasses as you take a look at Despaigne right there. No sunglasses. Obviously, we saw the problem that Ichiro had. He's trying to shade the sun with his glove, and at that point realizes, you know what, I might get hit in the head. I'm getting out of here. Ball kicks away from him, but obviously the lack of any sort of eye protection right there cost him a chance to catch the ball.
First extra base hit. It is a double. Despaigne incoming.
I want to start giggling because about Harry Carey, because he used to say, how can this guy lose the ball in the sun? He's from Mexico. I mean, you know, it's like Harry.
You come from the land of the rising sun.
Some of the greatest lines.
You take advantage of it. Well, that one fell in. So a double, runner at second and one away. Iwamura a single and a run scored in the third inning. This is not the way Cuba thought they would be playing ball. Perhaps those glasses would be useful in the field.
Well, the guys don't wear the flip downs anymore, and when the flip downs were used, they had different levels of sun protection. You had a very light grade, you had a high grade, and you had ones that were almost blackout. And I think they need the blackout ones out there in right field here in San Diego today, because it is very, very intense. You think about somebody like Ichiro Suzuki missing a fly ball because it got lost in the sun. That is very, very, very tough sun. And now you get a young man from Cuba having the same problem. They become a little bit more prepared with the eye work.
Despaigne takes the glasses. That is very embarrassing. There's no leash given by either of these teams as far as the players are concerned. A lot of ball clubs in the major leagues, the manager would not have sent the glasses out into the field because it's an embarrassment to the player to do it. No hesitation here, however. So a runner on at second base, 6 hits in the ball game for Japan. Iwamura with a 1-strike count. Nakanori Iwamura will foul that one back into the seats. 0-2. If I was the right fielder right now, I would not be anxiously awaiting my return to the dugout for Cuba.
Yeah, you want Iwamura to foul off about 10 pitches right here. None of them in your direction.
Let's take this game deeper into the history. There's a souvenir.
That's universal right there, huh?
Yeah.
Happy to get a foul ball.
Smile that was. Fastball away. Ismael Jimenez with a couple of strikeouts, now the double off him. And then Iwamura with a 1-ball, 2-strike count. This is already a bigger lead for either team than many expected to be seen in this ball game. 3-0. And everything that Japan can add to it, the defense and pitching they've got, gets them closer to a win. That's going to miss outside. Castano takes a slow walk out with the baseball before returning it. And a 2-ball, 2-strike count.
You know, the interesting thing, looking out at the field right now, the game's a little slower, but thinking about these two professional teams, you know, they're put together for this, but the contrast in what happens in each of their countries as far as the salaries, as far as when they're allowed to leave or not leave, and what they get. You know, the Japanese professional player, maybe $1 million to $2 million a year as far as not the stars, but the everyday players. And what do the Cuban guys make? About $550 a month?
$550 a month.
And they are living at the top of the world.
And there are other perks above and beyond that $550, and that's for the all-star, you know, the national player for Cuba. Their normal player there makes about $200 a month, and then these higher level graded players get other perks.
They get a chance to maybe buy some exports and imports that are coming around that other people don't get to. They get cars, they get a house for themselves, but it really is an amazing difference between both sides of the field and the cultures that they bring with them to the baseball field.
3-2 count on Iwamura.
You know, Japan, the posting fees that it takes once they can become a free agent, if they decide they want to come to the States, the posting fees you know, when you're talking $50 million, $35 million to go back to their organizations, have actually saved teams in communities where the attendance and the following of that team has not been good enough. They're thinking about folding a team, and now with the influence and the cash influx from the U.S. teams buying the rights to negotiate with a player like Dauseke Matsuzaka, it's actually saved teams in Japan.
Iwamura, quality at bat here. 3-ball, 2-strike count. And the posting fee we're talking about, it's the right to negotiate with a player that a major league club has to pay to the Japanese team, in this case, just to negotiate. It's not about the player's salary.
Isn't it a closed bid, Steve?
It's blind bid. You submit a number. The highest bid gets selected. Then the team has the right to either accept or reject the bids as they come in. And that's right. Then you have to negotiate a separate contract with the player.
3-2 count, runner off second base. Jimenez will wait a bit. That's one of the reasons that Japan has not put up quite the fuss that other countries have with players leaving the Japanese leagues and coming to play in the U.S. because they make so much money off it. And a ground ball towards the middle. Diving stop. Gurriel makes the throw. Not going to get him. But did save a run, at least for the moment. Jojima moves over to third base. Iwamura is 2 for 2 in the ball game. 2 on and 1 down.
Well, before the game, we talked about the athleticism of Yulieski Gurriel and kind of a connection to Derek Jeter. It's the kind of player he is. You see this athletic play, getting over, trying to get up, checking the runner at third base, which was a very good heads-up play right there. As he dove for the ball, he peeked at third base to be able to see whether or not the runner was going to go. Then he turned to be able to try to make the throw. Just couldn't get enough on it.
The chant of Ichiro goes up. As he will get the RBI chance now with runners on at first and third. That's 7 hits in the ball game for Japan. Ichiro scored after reaching on a fielder's choice, trying to sacrifice bunt in the third, and he has grounded out. 1 down. Almost impossible to double him up on a ground ball.
I think it definitely is almost impossible to double him up, maybe 2 or 3 a year in the big leagues. And I'll tell you what, he changes defenses. I would, if I'm Team Cuba, I'd come in almost halfway to try and get Ichiro on double A, but really cut the run at home.
They are back, and a chopper. Runner's going to score easily. They go to second and will get the out. Gurriel over to Perret to get the force out. Jojima will score, though, an RBI for Ichiro, and it is a 4-0 lead.
Yeah, I agree. I would have played the infield in right there. You can't let it get too far away from you. You know, just contact from Ichiro. You know, unless he scorches it right at an infielder, you're not going to get a double play. So he gets jammed. Gurriel does a nice job ranging to his left, being able to get the lead runner. But Ichiro knows, I make contact, I'm going to pick up a run right here, hustling down the line. Gurriel goes to his left and gets the lead run. It's a good heads-up play right there. You know, he could have gotten the runner at first base, but leaving the runner in scoring position at second. Nice job.
Chance to run right here. Jimenez recognizes that. Ichiro and the fielder's choice, the RBI back to the bag. 4 runs on 7 hits now for Japan. They just keep slowly putting the numbers up on the board, and we are in the 4th inning. Ichiro with a pretty good lead over there.
We talked about how Team Cuba may be one of the most dominant teams they've had in a long, long time, but it really was the offense that people talked about, not the pitching staff. And we've seen that kind of being a little bit of the weakness here. Command of the ball, being able to actually put hitters away. They've had some veteran big arms in the past with some amazing breaking balls. We might get to see Lazo, who was their closer. They have another guy closer and waiting.
Oh, right off the end of the glove, and a nice play made. Jimenez helps himself defensively. That will retire the side, but another run added on a couple of hits with 1 left on, and Japan extends their lead over Cuba to 4. Beautiful day here in San Diego in SoFi for Japan with a 4-0 lead. Keep in mind, this is a double elimination tournament, the World Baseball Classic. The winner of this game is going to face the winner of Sunday night's game coming up between Korea and Mexico. That game will be on Tuesday, the winners. And the loser of this game will play the loser of tonight's game. That will be on Monday. So you got to lose 2. Ground ball down to third. Scooped up. Gurriel is retired. One pitch and one out, one away here in the bottom half for Cuba. Talked about the Japanese influence in the majors with the Dodgers. Hideo Nomo in '95, first to come. As Oral said, he opened up that door and he was outstanding. Ichiro followed, debut 2001 with the Mariners. Obviously a great name now in Major League Baseball. Then Dauseke 2007 with the Red Sox, 15-12 in his rookie season. And Fukudome, the rookie of the year with the Cubs last year. But once that door got opened by Nomo, things began to happen. And there's no reason to believe that's going to stop because the quality of baseball has only gotten better in Japan. Despagne flied out his first time up. There are the Major League Baseball players, 5 of them on this roster for Japan. With the Dauseke working in this ball game, no walks, 4 strikeouts. And Dauseke, despite the fact he's thrown a few pitches, is pretty much in control here in this game off the mound.
Yeah, he's shown some very good command with his fastball. At times he's made a few mistakes, and we could see that if those big league hitters would have been up there and maybe not some of his Cuban players, that he might have gotten a little bit of trouble. A few hangers he got away with. But 30 more pitches to go to work with here in this outing.
And the 1-ball 2-strike delivery. Wow. And he's just tying people up right now. Daisuke's got 5 strikeouts, and all of them have come looking. Speaking about Nomo, Orestes.
Yeah, I know him well. You know, in the early 90s when I was playing in Japan, he was just taking off and becoming this, super phenom pitcher. Then in 95, or actually the winter of 94, he fought the system. And he, in essence, became the first player ever to say, no, thank you. I'm going to the United States, and I'm going to try the major leagues. Now, that was really, to me, the pioneer, because if he would have failed, fellas, this would have been a guy going back with his tail between his legs. And I think to this day, you would not still have a major leaguer from Japan, because they are about not losing face, not looking bad. So his success was paramount to these other players saying, you know what? I can do it. I can go across and swim these waters and really make it happen. So I really take my hat off to Hideo Nomo, and a guy like Dauseke Matsuzaka now can toe the rubber here in the United States and have the success.
It's a very interesting viewpoint, too, and I think especially true for Japan.
You know, and it's interesting. Ichiro, the first position player to come over, his success was as critical. I remember I was general manager when they were posting him and he was available. And everybody didn't know whether the Japanese hitters, they said, well, they got a different style of hitting. They're not going to be able to hit here. I mean, clearly he proved us wrong. He can hit.
Here's the 0-2 delivery on the way. That's off his foot. Hideo Nomo, 2 career no-hitters, September 7, '96, second season with the Dodgers. The only no-hitter ever to be thrown at Coors Field. No easy task right there against the Rockies. Then in April of 2001, Red Sox debut, threw his second career no-hitter against the Orioles, first in the 10-year history of Camden Yards at the time.
Yeah, I remember with Ichiro's first spring training with Seattle, and Lou Piniella was the manager. He was like, after about 4 or 5 days of watching him take BP, he goes, can you pull the ball? Can you hit with any kind of power? And Ichiro unleashed a couple and hit him over the right field wall, and he goes, I'm just working on this swing. He goes, okay, I got it.
I'll leave you alone now.
I'll leave you alone now.
Waiting here in a 1-ball 2-strike count. Leslie Anderson up at the plate. Anderson grounded out first time up. He'll take that down low for a ball.
Well, what a difference in the posting numbers where they've gone. I mean, Matsuzaka, his club got about $50+ million in the posting money for Ichiro. When he was out there, I think that the posting number came in about $11 or $12 million. So you talk about a huge differential. And that's a change in perspective of major league teams understanding the real impact the Japanese player can have on their franchise.
2-ball 2-strike count with 2 away. Swung on and missed. That's 6 strikeouts, 2 in the inning. Retires the side in order as Daisuke is in charge on the mound right now in a 4-0 lead for Japan. Petco Park in San Diego, and the fans on hand to watch this first of 2 today. Japan taking the lead 4-0 over Cuba, and it will be Mexico and Korea in the ball game that we played here tonight. 11 o'clock Eastern time on ESPN2.
I'm going to let Steve do all the pronunciations on the Korean team.
Well, you just say Kim and Lee, and you pretty much got a shot that they've either hit it or caught it.
Manager's name is Kim, right?
Yeah. So you're all set. Aoki at the plate. Aoki has walked single, picked up an RBI. We go to the 5th inning. And that is in there for a strike. Ismael Jimenez coming on in relief. Third pitcher Hughes still out there on the mound, charged with one of the runs, the one that scored in the 4th inning, on a couple of hits. 1-1. Good heater right there. Foul tipped and held on to for a 1-ball 2-strike count. Done a good job. Chapman, the starter, 3 runs, 3 hits, 2 in the 3rd innings. Walked 3, struck out 1. Roberto Gonzalez came on and gave up 2 hits over a third of an inning. The irony right now is that the decision to use the left-handers was made by Cuba to pitch against Japan, thinking they were susceptible to lefties. But it's been Jimenez, the right-hander, who's had the better go of it here in the ball game.
Well, Tatsunori Hara, the manager for Japan, went with 5 left-handed bats in the lineup. He was not intimidated by Chapman being on the mound.
2-2 delivery. That is a foul ball.
Well, they do a good job with the philosophy of small ball. And small ball, the difference here, you get fooled on a pitch, but you're trying to make contact, so you learn from that. You keep the bat in the strike zone a little longer. Man on third, less than 2 out, just trying to make contact. Same exact at bat. A couple pitches later, stays on it just long enough to get that into the outfield, drive in the run. Now, small ball to big ball, the big ball swing would still be swinging, hoping the pitcher makes a mistake, get it in an area where he can hit it. Small ball, you make an adjustment and you give in as a batter and put the ball in play and try and advance the run.
Just able to get around on that. Obviously had his swing slowed down on the pitch before that, and then came back with a fastball, and he just got around to follow it off. Aoki batting 3rd in the lineup. Japan with 4 runs, 7 hits, 2 errors, and Cuba no runs, 4 hits, and no errors. He'll line that one towards the corner into the bullpen foul.
Well, Aoki has kind of a pronounced leg kick. He's got one of the bigger leg kicks. And on the first one where we saw him swinging this earlier, he kind of didn't get the foot down early enough. You know, when you have a big leg kick like that, one of the risks you run is when you don't get the foot down, you end up having to rush your swing. The leg kick gives you some rhythm, but you want to get the foot down on the ground to be able to hit against your front leg to be able to drive the ball.
2-ball, 2-strike count. See what Jimenez tries to get him with. Trying to come inside on him, and again, foul back.
That's such a key, Steve, you know, for the young hitters at home, that you really, until you get that front foot down, your hands are not going to come through or start. So when the front foot hits, the hands can now attack the ball. And the reason you say you rush your swing because your foot's not down is the foot gets down late, the hands can't start. So when the hands can finally start when the foot gets down, you have to rush. And you feel like you're kind of just throwing the bat at the ball, or you're just beat.
It's going to be the 9th pitch of this at-bat on a 2-2. He's going to go a little longer. 3-ball, 2-strike count.
Interesting, we saw Ariel Pistano, the catcher, kind of shift in under Aoki at the plate, trying to deke him on making him think they were coming inside with it. He moved back away again and got the breaking ball, but couldn't get it in for a strike.
5 hits, 13 at bats, 4 RBIs. Aoki's having a very successful World Baseball Classic, and he'll foul that one off. And it'll stay 3 balls and 2 strikes. Well, he's seen everything Jimenez can throw to him. First time around, he's seen them all again this time around. Jimenez heads back trying to think up a new pitch.
Yeah, he said, have I ever tried a submarine or something here?
3-2 delivery, lashed foul. That wasn't it. I mean, you can almost see him. He walks slowly back to the mound like, see, I've thrown him everything twice. Now what?
What do you do, Earl? You've got a guy, you're throwing him everything. He's fouled off every pitch. Where do you go?
Sometimes with these kind of guys, like when I face Tony Gwynn, it's like, well, you throw it away, he hits it left, you throw it inside, he hits it double down right field line. I threw it down the middle and made him decide. You know, I'm going to throw it in the middle. You get it in the field. You're killing my pitch count. You're probably not going to hit a home run. Here, get your hit or don't get your hit.
3-ball, 2-strike count. This will be the 12th pitch of this at bat. And down to first, hit hard, but gobbled up.
But he
And Anderson
did. He
makes
threw
the
it right
play.
down the middle. Let him hit it hard.
That's right, it worked.
You know, I was thinking about the Cuban catcher. You know, he's 34 years old. He's caught all these games. He's thinking about retirement to be with his son. And then you think about, we talk about the influx of talent from Japan as far as impacting Major League Baseball. Well, would you think Pastano would have a little regret if he's thinking about retiring, as he's watched some Cuban defectors come over here to the U.S. and have great careers over here, make a lot of money, enjoy some freedom, and really think about reaching the highest level in his career. So he's played his whole career in Cuba. He hasn't really had the freedom to leave there, and he's had great success. He wants to manage over there, but something about, would there be any regret? Do we ever hear anything about second thoughts that these young men have had about not trying to reach the top? And I know it takes a tremendous amount of risk to think about, you know.
He got him, and he'll get down to first base. Their power hitter, Morata, takes that one right in the side.
And I know Arestas has real emotional ties to this, and has talked a lot about this, and you know what the families go through for a defector, and what the guys have to go through, you know, that have defected, and it's a big, huge issue that baseball, the universal language, our all love for it. We want to see the best talent all on one field at one time, and the World Baseball Classic does that in some ways, but in other ways, these Cuban players don't get to play in the major leagues. And I think, Arestas, what do you think?
Well, you know, you're right on mark. I mean, the bottom line is that you're not allowed to leave. You know, and it becomes politics y pelota. The two P's, you know, get in the way. But these guys want to play at the highest level. The highest level is the major leagues. They're proud to play for their country. They're proud for themselves. But I'll throw in another thing that they're doing, a lot of these young players here, and is showcasing themselves. Or I do believe that it's not just Pedro Martinez and Ivan Rodriguez that are using the World Baseball Classic to showcase. Right now they can't leave, but you never know when they might leave, when the doors finally open. And a good showing here goes a long way to what is the best baseball, which is the major league level.
I think Arestas absolutely right. That ball's going to be a base hit down the line into right field. Runner going to third base. Yasuwara picks up the single. He's 2 for 2 in the ball game and a walk. And Japan just continues to grind this game out, putting runners on at first and third with one away.
Ogasawara did not get all of this. He kind of got it off the sweet part of the bat. The ball kind of leaks back in. He gets jammed. But again, we've seen all of these guys. We keep saying they're strong enough to get it over the infielders. You can do that. You can muscle the ball to the outfield if the ball's up in the zone. And that's where pitchers have gotten themselves in trouble. He's just strong enough to get it over Leslie Anderson down the line, be able to advance the runner to third.
Just following up, we were finishing up on that with Arestas. I think there's a feeling everywhere that the relations that Cuba has with everyone in the world is in the process of changing, as slowly as it may come. And the players, I think, feel that, and I think Arestas is exactly right, that there's a hope there that maybe they're closer than ever to having a chance to be able to come to play Major League Baseball without having to defect from Cuba.
Well, I'll tell you what, it feels different for me this time than compared to 2006 in Puerto Rico in the World Baseball Classic. Back then, they kept everybody at arm's length. The Cuban team kept everybody at arm's length. The home hotel in Puerto Rico, their phones were taken out of the rooms for fear that somebody would contact them. Here in San Diego, the phones are left in the room, so there's not that fear. And the players were very open and approaching around the batting cage yesterday. They all kind of came over, shook hands, said hello. And so there is some change, I think, in the relationship and the perspective of the Cuban players in the country to people outside.
Be great if it happens. Ichikawa fouled that one back. The United States has tried to help open that up a little bit. Only recently, out of the baseball world, they have helped restore the Ernest Hemingway home, which is in Cuba, where he wrote a couple of those great books, including The Old Man and the Sea. The U.S. provided some help as far as research was concerned, and with some artifacts to go into that house. That's the kind of thing that slowly, maybe, opens the door in baseball as well. Runners at first and third. Ground ball towards the middle. That's going to be a base hit. Morata will score. and RBI. Ichiro gets it, and it is a 5-0 lead for Japan. Station to station effective baseball.
The small ball is about playing the percentages, putting the ball in play, finding holes. The probabilities of baseball. Make contact, maybe it'll find a hole. Get the extra base, run the bases well. Play good, solid defense. Throw strikes on the mound. Get the strikeout if you need it. Japan is executing perfectly, other than a few pickoff plays earlier in the game.
Ichiro picks up the RBI, his first hit of the ball game, as he is 1 for 2. And in the World Baseball Classic, that will be his 3rd RBI. And another pitching change is going to come. This Japanese team right now is really doing a number on the psyche of Cuba, because it's not as though they're just whacking the ball around and you can say, oh, well, they're just having their day. They are just nudging this thing to a 5-0 lead. This 09 World Baseball Classic continues on ESPN2 tonight as Mexico will take on Korea here in San Diego. The World Baseball Classic on ESPN2 HD tonight at 11 Eastern. And for more, you can log on to ESPN.com. Mexico's been driving the home runs, while South Korea has simply gone 3-1 with some very strong pitching and defensive performances. Japan putting on the performance here as they've got the 5-0 lead, out hitting Cuba 9-4 so far in this ball game. Yoennis Gonzalez will be the new pitcher coming out of the bullpen. He picked up a victory against Mexico in the first round, working 2 innings. He gave up a run on a hit, a couple of walks, and 3 strikeouts in that ball game. And we get to see another left-hander.
The Team Cuba continuing with the strategy, thinking that Team Japan is susceptible to the left-hander. I tell you what, the Japanese hitter, they're very good at keeping that bat in the strike zone for a long time, releasing the top hand so the bottom hand can continue on the ball, even though the breaking ball has fooled them.
Fukudome, who has struck out twice, comes up with runners on at first and second base. Fukudome with a couple of hits in 9 at bats. Against the sweeping left-hand delivery, which is outside for a ball, and Pastano again will head out to the mound.
Interesting to go out to the mound. What could he possibly have to talk to him about? You just made the pitcher change it through 1 pitch.
Steve, remember we saw Pastano catching in the 2006 Classic. You were there too, Oral, down in Puerto Rico. He was like that then. I mean, he's constantly doing something, talking to players, especially pitchers, during a ball game.
The guy I played with that used to do that a lot was Mike Soshin. He turned into a great manager. Pastano wants to manage, so at times we'd call Mike Sociable. Because he wanted to come out and visit.
He just liked you. He wanted to say hi. Fukudome takes another, and that's going to miss, and a 2-0 count. 2 on and a run in here in the 5th inning.
That sort of patience we're seeing from Fukudome right here is what he really instilled in the Cubs lineup last year. And the benefit is a 2-0 count, runners on base. You force the pitcher to have to throw the ball back in over the plate and off the corners and get a pitch that can drive.
Left-handers in the dirt. Ball bounces away. Whoop, they got a runner off first base. He's all the way down to second. Here's the throw, and he gets back. That was close. Ichiro thought the runner was going to go ahead of him, so he was 3/4 of the way down to second base.
Well, for the runner on first, the ball is going away from him when it gets away from the catcher, so he seems more aggressive. For the runner on second, the ball is going towards the base he is heading, so he's a little more tentative. So there was no cross up there, just the aggression on one side and tentativeness on the other. Once that ball leaves that home plate dirt, you got to be a runner and move up. There was no anticipation of a wild pitch there.
3-0 delivery on the way, and that is a strike taken. So Japan does not advance the runners. We'll see how that plays out in the inning.
That's the second time, though, we've seen a left-handed pitcher's breaking ball going away from a left-handed hitter in the dirt. That Pastano has not even tried to block the ball in the dirt. He reached out with his glove to try to catch it on the hop.
Fukudome with a 3-1. No play to be made at second base.
Maybe Pestano knows something about himself that we don't know, and the reason for his intended retirement is maybe a small health issue or something, or a large health issue in his legs, because we are not seeing the mobility that we saw back in '06, and especially for somebody 34.
3-1 delivery on the way, and a strike taken. Yeah, he is not moving as fast, and obviously the knees, obviously for catchers, can turn into a problem at that age.
A nice little fastball low and away right there. If you're going to be a left-hander with the sweeping breaking ball, the main pitch that sets that up is that fastball low and away, because out of that same window you throw the breaking ball, you get the swing and miss.
Lucadomi, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts in the Classic so far. 3-2, 1 down, runners are going. Only play is going to be at first. The flip, not in time. The umpire says he got pulled off the bag. Carlos Ray, first base umpire for Puerto Rico, on a bang-bang play at first base. That'll be a hit.
Well, that was an in-betweener right there with some hesitation on Anderson's part there. He tries to back flip it. And you see it looks like Gonzalez steps a little bit over the base and touches it with his heel really on the base. I think to a certain degree blocking the view of Carlos Ray, the first base umpire, to see whether he got to the bag or not. I think they got the call right.
That's going to load the bases. You talk about an offense that's chipping away. This ball game for Japan, they got 10 hits on the board now, 9 singles and 1 double. Kenzie Jojima, a strike on the inside corner. Only 1 out, sacks full, 5 runs on 10 hits now. Yoennis Gonzalez out of the bullpen. First man against him gets on with that infield hit. And now he's got to face the right-handed hitter. Jojima's already picked up a single and a double in the ball game. This Cuban team came into this ball game having surrendered only 9 runs against the 3 opponents they played against in the first round. They've surrendered 5 in this ball game. One ball, 1 strike count. Breaking ball again in the dirt. 2-1.
Jojima looking for a bounce back season this year. He only hit .227 last year. One of his real struggles, left-handed pitching. Only hit .205 against them last year. Well, so far in this World Baseball Classic, he has 6 hits. 5 of those 6 hits have come against lefties. So some adjustments being made and getting back on track offensively.
And my good friend Don Wakamatsu, first-year manager with Seattle up there. Ex-catcher will take him on and manage him this year.
Jojima will bloop that one to second. That is exactly what they asked for. Infield fly rule called on it. So Jojima is retired for a big second out with the bases loaded.
Well, Gary, you've talked about Japan kind of nudging its way to this lead 5-0 with the 9 signals of the 10 hits, and you're playing amateur ball, international ball, short series ball, World Baseball Classic ball. I think the small ball approach is the better approach. Power numbers and big swings work when there's a relationship between the pitcher and the hitter, where you can anticipate what's coming, or if the pitcher's making a lot of mistakes. Putting the ball in play, making contact in a short series double elimination tournament is a better philosophy for me.
They are using it here. And a big hit right here would really open the barn door for Japan. They've got the 5-0 lead. Bases loaded. 2 down. Runners will be off and on the fly here on anything he can get the bat on. So a base hit would score a couple of at least. 1-0 count, 2 down. Iwamura, couple of hits, 11 at bats in the Classic. Breaking ball off speed outside. He's ahead 2-0.
Talk about small ball. Well, the Cuban defenders are setting themselves up. Look how shallow they are in the outfield here. Not expecting Iwamura to drive the ball. Doing what they can. Look how shallow in right field as well. So trying to cut down a run at the plate. Not anticipating a pitch he can drive.
Iwamura, a 48 RBI man with Tampa Bay. He's the ducks on the pond guy. Fouls that one off. Drove it right down into the plate. And a 2-ball, 1 strike out. An effective, patient Japanese machine at work here in this ball game. It's not only if you're on the other side of it means you're behind, it makes you feel bad. It's like, how are they doing this? Here's the 2-1 delivery on the way, and again fouls it off in the box. 2-ball, 2-strike count.
It's got to wear you out as a pitcher when it's seemingly every borderline pitch they throw, the Japanese hitters foul it off and spoil it and live for that next pitch.
And you know what really is deceiving about pitching to this type of hitter, especially the left-handers? You think you need to pitch them away, and that's really the pitch that they love. But because their swing looks like they're pulling off, you want to throw the ball out there. I think the most effective pitch to these guys is the fastball in. When I was the pitching coach for the Texas Rangers, that's where we went to get Ichiro out. We pounded him in, so that when we finally went away, he was off of that pitch completely.
2-2 counted. And Iwamura takes it, and a strike 3 called. So Gonzalez finds the zone, but a run in, 3 hits, bases are left loaded. Japan extends their lead over Cuba to 5-0. This is the 09 World Baseball Classic here in San Diego. The 4 teams playing here, opening up with this ball game, and Japan's got the 5-0 lead over Cuba. It is a double elimination second round, as it was in the first round. So these 2 teams have a chance later to meet again. But of course you lose that first game, and after that everything is an elimination game for you. 5-0 lead. We go to the bottom half of the 5th inning. Cuba, the home team. Dauseke has been outstanding, and he will have that one bunted to third. Bobbled, no play made. Murata, the third baseman, trying to watch Dauseke and the ball at the same time, and couldn't find it. Pastano was on at first base.
A little chopper right there. It actually had a little spin on it. Remind me of Tiger Woods being back on the PGA Tour. Spin the ball like that. Comes out. Infielder has to read not only where it's going to bounce, but what's that spin going to do.
Be a base hit. So Pastano on with a 5th hit. Picked up by Cuba. All singles. Barrett, the number 9 hitter, strikeout victim his first time up, even though 2 errors were made on foul pops to keep his at-bat alive. He squared around as though he might try and bunt. Takes the pitch away for a ball. We talked about how dominating this chipping away game has been by Japan. Dauseke has thrown 64 pitches. The Cuban pitchers have thrown 116 in the ball game. A strike on the outside corner. Japan has been able to just eat away at the Cuban pitchers, forcing them to throw a lot more. And Dauseke, as Quarles mentioned, has been much more effective and efficient. 1 ball, 1 strike. Barrett will take the fastball. That'll miss. 2-1.
You know, when the Cuban team came off the field after the half inning, they all grouped outside the dugout, had a little team meeting. And I think part of the message had to be, we need base runners right now. So you see Pastano bunt. Then you see Barrett actually turn around like he might bunt a couple times. They don't care how they get on. They just want to get on.
That ball drilled. It's long enough if fair, but it isn't. A foul ball into the corner. And they know the time for Dauseke to remain on the mound is diminishing here, so that they may be able to get a shot at somebody else, so they can get a run or 2 off him, maybe then get something against the bullpen, which is active. 2 ball, 2 strike count. Barrett takes that one towards the hole. Kadoka for 1, the relay to first. Iwamura turns the double play.
I tell you what, Dauseke gets 2 outs right there with the ground ball double play, keeping the ball down, but he's also had some strikeouts today, using both sides of the play, being very accurate with his fastball, inside, outside, on that corner. That fastball is usually the pitch that he finishes batters off with, sets them up with the off-speed pitches. But most of his pitches today have been very sharp. There have been very few hitters where he's fallen into that rut of throwing consecutive balls. Back in the strike zone very quickly.
So quickly 2 outs despite the leadoff single. Cespedes, the leadoff batter. 1 of the hits. He is 1 for 2 in the game. 1 of the 5 given up. Cespedes will take the pitch up high for a ball.
You know, John Farrell, the pitching coach of the Boston Red Sox, Terry Francona, the manager, liking this outing by Dauseke, showing the command and good arm strength and arm speed out in front. They need a little positive news. Dustin Pedroia with the little ribcage pull, had to be pulled out of the World Baseball Classic. Lugo went down with an injury. Boston looking for some positive things.
At the fastball and a 2-ball, 2-strike count. A lot to cheer for by the fans on hand from Japan so far with a 5-0 lead. Not as inside as it looked, as Cespedes kind of leaned into that one a little bit. Another one of the young players we've been talking about. He's only 22 years old. Big center fielder, 15 homers, 52 RBIs, batting .301 in the Cuban League right now. Fastball he couldn't line up on, fouls it back, 3-2. Dauseke Matsuzaka, clearly a guy who was going to be a star early. 98 pitching in the National High School Tournament. Still has that same facial look, doesn't he? And still was striking out people. 17-inning complete game victory he had. Next day he had a save and relief in the semifinal and then a no-hitter in the championship. Lord almighty.
18 years old at that time. We watched Aroldis Chapman throwing 98 miles an hour on the Cuban side. Now 21 years old. Parallel those two careers.
Stunning. He is just dominating. Dauseke, he had only 1 strikeout in the first game he pitched against South Korea. He has 7 strikeouts in this ball game. And time now for our pitching summary, brought to you by the video game MLB 09, the show. Not much question about who's dominating this ball game when it comes from those on the mound.
Dauseke Matsuzaka is throwing the ball outstanding. Those 76 pitches, 53 have been strikes. And I'll tell you, he's cheering his defense. He got the double play, but he's also done a lot of work himself. The 76 pitches, 53 strikes, only 5 times in the game has he thrown back-to-back balls. That's the kind of command he's shown with all of his pitches. It hasn't been like a spring training outing where he's just going maybe fastball, breaking ball, or fastball changeup. He's mixed every pitch that he's going to use in the big league season right here in this WBC.
May come back out. What do you think?
I think if it was a Boston Red Sox spring training game and they wanted to extend him past the pitch count he's at now at 76, that he would throw the rest of the pitches in the bullpen with less wear and tear and no hitter when he's most fatigued. Because it's the WBC and it's Japan, maybe he comes out for another 9. We'll see.
See, I wouldn't like him to come back out for another inning because I wouldn't want to bring a reliever in the middle of the inning because many of the relievers are starting pitchers. So I'd rather have a starting pitcher who's coming in relief start the inning instead of coming in the middle of the inning.
Ichiro will lead it off to start the 6th inning. 5-0 lead. Japan on top, out hitting Cuba 10-5 in this ball game. Ichiro with those 4 hits and 17 at-bats. The delivery to him, and that is outside for a ball. He picked up an RBI on a fielder's choice, scored a run in the 3rd inning when he reached on a fielder's choice, and he is grounded out. Cuba big, yes. ESPN there, absolutely. Here's the 1-0 delivery. And to pump that down into the left field corner, 1-1.
So let me ask you this. Ichiro Suzuki, 8 seasons in the major leagues, all 8 seasons, over 200 or more hits, 100 or more runs scored, tying Lou Gehrig's consecutive mark of doing that. Best hitter in the history of the game?
Wow.
I mean, he's going to end up with over 4,000 hits before it's all said and done. 3,000 hits here in the States. Arguably going to surpass Pete Rose's total hit number.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to be. He is going to
be in the conversation.
He's a Hall of Famer in the United States. He's going to end up. He's got 1,800 plus hits in the States. He's going to end up with over 3,000 hits in the United States. He's a Hall of Famer here, and he arguably going to surpass Pete Rose's numbers. Best hitter in the world.
Wow. And you look at that body, you can tell it's not chemically enhanced.
Best singles.
That's a wiry, strong.
Best singles hitter.
Yeah.
Well, that's a given. Huh?
Yeah.
He wins that one hands down.
Every year he wins that.
I don't know, most singles. Pete Rose had a lot of singles.
Yep.
You have to look at those numbers.
Consistency for Ichiro, amazing.
It was interesting to watch him come in after the the 3 outs last inning. He knew he was the leadoff hitter. He sprinted in from right field. He went by all the obligatory handshakes that were being handed out by Dauseke for the double play and the rest of the players gathering around, and ran down the stairs and got into his batting equipment as really possible. Popped back out of the dugout and started preparing for this at bat right away.
The delivery, and Ichiro on a big cut. He is out of there. Yoennis Gonzalez gets his second strikeout.
Well, I would say the best hitter in the world probably would never look like this on a swing, but we're going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I mean, he could take some ugly swings and put it in play, the big sweep and breaking ball away. Gets him vulnerable. You see him kind of pulling off a little bit right there, but he is some remarkable offensive play.
And look at the numbers, talking about consistency. He played 9 years in Japan and hit .353. Major leagues, 8 years, .331. I mean, that's really phenomenal that you can do that, be that consistent, 2 different leagues.
Remember, the hits, his hits would be more, but the Japanese season is a shorter season than the United States. They play fewer games.
You talk about the equivalent in the comparison of the 2 leagues too, and the abilities. You talk about only a drop of 20 points, and he was younger and maybe more experienced. So you've got youth at one time when he's in Japan, you got experience when he's in the United States. The culture shock of coming over and the transition really says a lot for Japanese professional baseball.
Kataoka, 2-0 count. And the fastball is right there. Gonzalez throwing strikes. A single, scored a run in the 3rd inning. He is 1 for 3 in the ball game. See if they can find a way, Gonzalez that is, to get this team out of there without getting somebody on base. They have had somebody on base in every inning of this ball game. Only 4 came to the plate in the 2nd inning, but a couple of walks, a caught stealing, a pickoff, and a strikeout into the inning. But there's been pressure offensively by Japan every inning of the game. 3-1 delivery. Kataoka puts that one up in the air to left field. Cespedes will go back. 2 down.
He did fastball right down the middle. A little bat flip, but I don't think he thought he got that here in this pitcher's ballpark. Kind of dropped his head right away, but there was some flair to that pop-up.
If he thought he had it, he'd have been looking out, not down. Aoki playing in left field, and he'll take it inside. He has had a single and an RBI and a walk, and he is grounded out.
Yeah, a significant change in this game now is the value of the 5 runs that are on the board for Team Japan because of the shadows now coming into play. It's going to get harder to be an offensive player here in this game now.
Breaking ball will be taken outside. First games to be played here in this pool of 4. The pool in Miami started with the USA losing to Puerto Rico 11-1, while Venezuela beat the Netherlands 3-1. The U.S., the only word is embarrassed. I mean, they have to be completely embarrassed. They were mercy ruled in that ball game.
And there's a report, ESPN's reporting out of there that Netherlands going to file a protest before the game tonight about the U.S. replacing Dustin Pedroia with his ribcage strain with Brian Roberts.
Ground ball towards second base. And there is the first 1-2-3 inning to be recorded by any one of the 4 pitches we have seen out there for Cuba. 5-0 Japan.
Steve plays fantasy baseball.
Oh, yeah. I want Aroldis Chapman on my team. I don't think I can quite get him just yet, though.
Wait a couple of weeks. Certainly get him. Well, he's coming out to finish. Dauseke Matsuzaka. He's got 9 pitches left under the rules of 85 here in round 2. And he can finish a batter if he reaches that mark. He can finish up that at bat. So let's see what he does. This is a personal challenge to see if he can retire the side on 9 pitches. Enriquez will take it for a strike. He hasn't walked anybody, has struck out 7.
Good way to do it. Start with strike 1.
What a dominating performance today for Dauseke. Grounded to short. 2 pitches. 1 out. Enriquez 1 for 3 in the ball game.
Dauseke during his major league career so far on this side of the pond, always a battle about the pitch count. Usually he wants to stay out there. He wants to get to 120, 130 pitches, but they always keep him around 110, 117 max or so. But he's always shaking his head like, I don't want to come out. But usually those pitches only take him to the 5th or 6th inning. He has a lot of short outings, effective outings, but a lot of pitches.
Well, one thing that Cuba's not doing, they're not trying to get him out of the ball game. They're going after pitches here. I mean, he's only got 9 in the inning. Matsuzaka with the 0-1. Cepeda nubs that one down to third. Murata 2 down.
One of the problems, it's hard to run up the pitch count when the guy's throwing strikes, and that's what Dauseke has done coming out this inning. I mean, 4 pitches in the inning. He's thrown all 4 strikes, all 4 fastballs, really finding more of the heart of the plate than he has on most of his fastballs during the course of the game.
He's got a real shot at reaching that decision mark we talked about, retiring the side on 9 or less. Barraza will take the breaking ball for his strike. He is flied out and struck out.
Can you maybe throw that challenge out to the Cuban pitcher next half inning as well? I mean, who knows? I mean, maybe they're listening.
Hey, he had a 1-2-3 in it.
Well, that's right. Good
he had a
point.
1-2-3 in it. Barraza and all of the at-bats, all 3 now, has just been trying to wail away, and Matsuzaka's giving him stuff to look at and not hit. Oh, 2. Matsuzaka's been so good, the home crowd cheering him on here, oohing and eyeing when he fails to throw a strike. Here's the 1-2, and that will be foul back. It'll stay at a ball and 2 strikes.
Barraza loves that fastball up in his eyes, up and in right there. That's the second one we've seen him just try to attack. So vulnerable to a slider right now because he's opening up and just turning to whale spin on the ball, especially up that fastball up and in.
1-2. Breaking ball will miss inside. So he's reached his limit of 85, but he can finish up this batter, and if he can get him, obviously finish up this inning and go 6 shutout innings. 2-2 delivery. And indeed he does. 8 strikeouts for Dauseke. He's completed his day's work. No run, 5 hits, no walks, and 8 Ks. Japan leading at 5-0. Earlier today, Oral decided he ought to get in a little early morning exercise, so he caught a little video out there on the Southern California surf. Nice moves.
Yeah, hanging 10, Oral. That's pretty good, buddy.
Yeah, too bad it wasn't me, guys. I don't have that kind of body anymore.
We got to the 7th inning here in San Diego. Japan's got the 5-0 lead over Cuba. And we will get a new pitcher. Yoennis Maya will come on to do the pitching. It is taken up high. Murata has scored after being hit by a pitch his last time up. He's got an RBI and a sac fly and robbed of a hit earlier on a ground ball out at third base. 5-10-2 for Japan. Cuba 0-5-0. The one thing Cuba has to look forward to, they've got at-bats left, and they won't be against Dauseke. 1-1 delivery. Maya will miss outside with that one, and a 2-ball 1-strike count. But the Cuban bullpen now has got to do the job of holding Japan if they're going to have any chance of getting back into this ball game. Maya's delivery will be fouled away. He's making his 2nd appearance. He has worked a couple of innings. Gave up 1 run on 1 hit in his lone appearance. That was a home run against him. Murata with a 2-ball 2-strike count. Yikes. A little mustard on that one.
Normally a sinker slider relies on off-speed pitch, but right here a pretty good fastball at 92. I know it ends up down the middle, but he stayed close, hit the ball very well, and you got some shadows there now behind the mound and over the home plate. A little tougher to see the ball. Kind of any kind of small blink or tough to pick up.
Strike called on that one.
So this time of year, Gary, you see a pitcher on the mound with number 97. You're not thinking it's a consequential game.
No.
You're thinking spring training, tail end, minor leaguer getting a look. But World Baseball Classic, Team Cuba against Team Japan is still 5-0. We've got a ball game going on.
They all know the quality of talent on the field in this ball game. You stay at it. 0-2 count. Designated hitter, a couple of singles, and he has walked in the ball game. Very successful day at the plate. Ogasawara. This is the hardest throwing pitcher that we've had in the ball game.
Other than Chapman. 98.
I don't think, yeah.
But he's been gone a long time.
He's been gone a long time, and I don't know that he got up to that today. Actually,
you know, didn't we see a 98?
2-2. We did. So
I think it might be one.
You know,
fouled off the foot.
Okay, one of the things that is enjoyable about the World Baseball Classic is really seeing how the cultures from the different parts of the world play themselves out in the baseball game. We're down on the field before batting practice, and the Japanese players are coming out of their dugout, and they all stop on the top step of the dugout, and they bow, take their hat off, and bow toward the field.
Towering fly ball left center field, and that will be held up. And Cespedes rather comes away with it. Warm-up action in the bullpen for Japan.
You see really the respect shown, and really what that is, and had a chance to talk to Yoennis Cespedes a little bit about it, is that it is the Japanese players showing the respect toward the game and toward the field of play and where they're going to go out and compete. I mean, that really is part of the culture of Japan, the respect issue, and they show it to their workplace. And you know, for the Cuban players coming out, it was so interesting that the security guards kind of kept us all away, and they immediately went out to right field and kind of went about their business. But there's something mysterious about the Cuban team that they keep you at arm's length, although they were a little bit warmer around the batting cages. You really see the difference of the culture coming into play.
Uchikawa, 0-2 count, 2 down. He has singled, struck out, drawn a walk in the ball game. We'll foul that one off. Orestes was trying to make his way over there to talk to some of the players today. You kind of go gingerly around the outside of the security area. Track somebody down, say hi, see if they'll answer. And if they do, you carry on a conversation. That ball in the air to left field. Hit pretty well near the warning track, but it's playable. Cepeda back to get it in a 1-2-3 inning for Maya coming out of the bullpen. 7th inning stretch time here in San Diego with Japan leading Cuba 5-0. Japan looking to go 1-0 here in this second round as they've got the 5-0 lead as the fans stretch. 7th inning stretch time. Dauseke out of there with an effective shutout. 6 innings and only 5 hits off him, and now the bullpen will go to work for Japan. Iwakuma, Hisashi Iwakuma, a 27-year-old right-hander. He has appeared in the Classic, taking a loss in the one game as a starter. Went 5 1/3 innings, giving up 1 run on just a couple of hits in that game. Did have 3 walks along with 5 strikeouts.
Iwakuma 21 wins last year. First Japanese league pitcher to win 20 games since 2003. 21-4, 1.87 earned run average. So outstanding performance.
Well, like you said, that's very hard. They have a shorter season. They're not playing 162 games. If they play in the 130 area.
Right, 130, 140. Yep.
He started that ball game against South Korea, the only loss Japan had in a 1-0 game, so he pitched well. That is going to be a base hit. Well, he gets it. A leadoff single here in the 7th inning. And one of the things that's hard for the U.S. fans, I think, to understand, Orestes Destrada, is the impact these games have around the world in these other countries.
Yeah, it's been really phenomenal for Team Japan, for the country of Japan. After the understanding of this great tournament 3 years ago, and they won it, and Sadahara led them to the victory, I think the country in Japan just said, wow, we love baseball, but this concept, this is fantastic, right up our alley. And now the passion, 37,000 came out for their first practice in mid-January. 37,000 people to see Team Japan. It borders on the comparison of like France, Brazil, Argentina in World Cup soccer. That type of madness of following and excitement. So it's a beautiful thing, and it's appropriate that they're the defending champs.
This team started together practicing on February 15 with those fans showing up in Miyazaki, a town out south of Tokyo. And there is Sadahara who is here. Kind of surprising. He's had some health problems. He was talked about as perhaps being the manager of this team, but the health problems really nullified that consideration fairly early. But great to see him here, that has felt well enough to make his way here. So he is the GM for this team from Japan, and obviously just revered in Japan, not only as a baseball player, but as a man. Despaigne with a runner on at first base. 6 hits on the board now for Cuba, all singles. And the fastball is taken up high. Sadahara kicked off the action of this World Baseball Classic in Tokyo on March 5. He threw out the ceremonial first pitch at the Tokyo Dome. Ichiro and others obviously cheering on somebody who has been a hero for many, if not all, Japanese baseball players. Came in with a heater, foul tipped into the mitt. Strikeout. 1 down, 1 on.
Ayakuma has a real lively arm, quick release, some life on the fastball. You see the kind of backup sinking movement on the pitch right there. Despaigne swings right over the top of it. No chance to make contact.
The rotation on that ball right there from that replay, let me think he might have been a little split finger fastball. Not an actual fork ball where it was deep in his hand, but a little split there because that ball really dove at the end.
Leslie Anderson. He takes the strike. Anderson is struck out and grounded out. Cuba's got to get it going now, running out of outs to work with in this ball game. Getting his first chance in this World Baseball Classic in this game to get some at bats for the 26-year-old. And that one to short. Tadaoka 1. Iwamura taken out on a nice slide at second base. So the fielder's choice. And there are 2 down. Take a look at what's going to be coming up. The Netherlands and the United States. ESPN2 HD tonight at 7:30. That is an elimination game. Mexico will play Korea. ESPN2 HD tonight at 11. We'll have that from here. Venezuela and Puerto Rico. Couple of winning teams. ESPN HD on Monday at 8. And the loser in this game will play the loser of the Mexico-Korean game that'll be coming up tonight. That'll be on Monday at 11 on ESPN2 HD. Double elimination. Keep reminding you of that. Just because a team loses one doesn't mean they are going to be out of it. So a runner on at first base and 2 away. Marino will be the pinch hitter. Rolando Marino will come on to pinch hit for Ariel Pastano, the catcher. And will take the pitch on the inside corner for a strike. Well, the veteran catcher is out of there, having picked up a single in the ball game, 1 for 2.
Replaced by a more veteran catcher. Marino, 38 years old, right now second in home runs in the Cuban League.
0-1 count. Iwakuna takes a look at first. It is a nasty breaking ball down and away.
That one had a second gear and started to break, and the finish on it, just you see it start to break about halfway, but then when it lost some velocity, the spin really took over and made it bite at the end.
Rolando Marino, 37 years old. He's actually had an increase in his offensive production as he's gotten older. 0-2 count. Right a book. Swung on and got him. Lakota comes out of the bullpen. He gets a couple of strikeouts. No runs despite a leadoff single. 7 innings complete. Japan 5, Cuba nothing. The Star of India down on the docks here in San Diego. Ship that you can take a tour of. Japan leading at 5-0. A couple of aircraft carriers down there as well. Saw people having brunch on the lower level of the aircraft carrier. That's an interesting place to eat. Just pulled in there permanently.
Let's do that tomorrow.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. There you see where we are with the 8 teams remaining. They started in Miami with Puerto Rico and Venezuela coming away with the wins. Puerto Rico defeating the United States, and Venezuela over the Netherlands. They will continue their action tonight. Cuba, Japan, Korea, Mexico here in the bracket here in San Diego. Just starting play today.
We'll talk about the United States and the Netherlands tonight. And Netherlands filing a protest about Brian Roberts being placed on the roster in place of Dustin Pedroia. And what we're hearing is that that protest will be denied, that the injury for Pedroia is deemed having happened in the first round, not in the second round, and you can replace a player after the first round for an injury. Also hearing Chipper Jones scratched from the lineup tonight for the USA with an oblique strain, so some issues for the USA team.
A couple of muscle pulls affecting those two players. Swung on and missed. Maya stays on, doing the work here in the 8th inning.
I think it's an interesting protest, though.
Well, it's all timing, right? There are rules about when you can add players and when you can't.
Well, is it the first pitch of the round or the first pitch of your game? And if I'm the Netherlands in the future, if it's denied, I'm going to get that rule changed, because if I see somebody's roster that's playing in the earlier game and all of a sudden I want to change and go to some more left-handed relievers or guys maybe injured, maybe not, I want to switch things up, you could, according to the 2 earlier teams' rosters being named early, and then you playing in the second game give you a little advantage maybe to manipulate your roster.
It's very, as in all things, you do have to have the rules. One of those, replacing players, has always been kind of a touchy issue, going from one round to the other. 1-2 delivery is swung on and missed. A couple of strikeouts right there. One away here in the 8th inning. San Diego is the site. World Baseball Classic pool featuring Japan and Cuba here in game 1 in this pool. Along with Steve Phillips, Oral Hershiser, Orestes Destrada down at field level. I'm Gary Thorne. Ball game that has been, I think, surprisingly a bit dominated by Japan 5-0. And Cuba has never really gotten into this game. And it's not been an overwhelming kind of play by Japan. It's just simply been a grinded out ball game. And the pitching of Dauseke dominating. No runs, 5 hits over 6 innings with no walks and 8 strikeouts.
It could be a lot closer if some of the small ball tactics by Japan didn't fall in. It's not like they were, peppering the yard with line drives and home runs, and some of those balls go at people. Maybe it's 1 or 2-0, and you get by some of the pitching blemishes put on by Chapman, the starter for Team Cuba. I think one of the surprising things is the lack of discipline of the Cuban offense. The team has really not looked like they've had a plan as a lineup to attack any of these Japanese pitchers, especially Dauseke. What was the plan? Because sometimes they attacked him on the first pitch fastball, other times they worked the count, a lot of times they swung at a lot of balls and were over aggressive.
1 ball, 2 strike here. Kenji Jojima will step out of there.
The Cuban hitters known for their discipline and also for being difficult to strike out. I mean, some of the numbers are phenomenal. 9 strikeouts in 58 games, but 10 strikeouts today.
We saw a lot of, those meetings after the defense comes in with the hitting coach, number 21. The coach would gather them like Little League or college, and we've seen 3 or 4 of those pep talks and strategy talks, and it doesn't really seem like the philosophy has switched during the game.
That went into the corner, and a foul ball by that much.
Or should I say the philosophy might have switched, but the execution hasn't changed.
Well, the problem I have with pep talks during the game, when you see this ball going right down the line right here, not a lot of room as you get down there, but hitting off the wall and coming back into play. The problem with pep talks is that they get you to try harder. When you try harder as a hitter, you chase pitches out of the zone, and that's really what we've seen Cuban hitters do.
Here's the 2-2 delivery, and that will be fouled off. One thing may be the level of play and pitching that Cuba had to face in this game without being demeaning. Mexico, Australia, and South Africa did not have the quality pitching that they were up against in Dauseke here in this ball game. And when you go from the pitching they saw in the first round to what they had to face here in Matsuzaka, that's a big-time adjustment that has to be made, and they didn't make a very good adjustment.
Well, Japan outscored their opponents 18-3 in the first round in Tokyo, so their pitching was phenomenal in that first round. It certainly has carried over, holding opponents to a 167 batting average.
That ball in the air off the meat of the bat towards the gap, but it's going to stay up. Judgment is retired. Cepeda over to get it, and there are 2 down here in the 8th inning.
But in no way are you trying to say that Team Cuba is in over their head, Garrett, at all, because since 1962, if you include the Pan American Games, the first, World Cup that was played, they are 43 winning out of 50 of these different contests, from the Intercontinental Cup to the Pan Am Games, the Olympics, the World Baseball Classic, and the other 7 that they didn't win, they were in the finals. I mean, this is a baseball power. The International Baseball Federation came out with their first ever ratings, and Cuba was rated number 1.
And as we said, they have that 7-2 edge against Japan in international games played. Cuba coming away in the last game they played in Beijing with that 4-2 win. So no, absolutely not out of it. That's why we've noted the double elimination aspect of the World Baseball Classic. You're not out of it for losing one. You got a chance to repeat, win, and come back and play. These 2 teams could end up facing each other again here in this second round. Iwamura will foul that one back. Iwamura, a couple of singles, 2 for 3, 2 runs scored. Those are the International Baseball Federation rankings. That's the first time there'll be a conference at the mound here that the rankings have been done. They said it's just time. There's enough International League play now. They took a look at all the tournaments that the national teams play. Points are given for wins. They take a look at the junior and minor teams that also play for these countries in international events. And that's how they seeded them in the first time they've ever put out an international ranking.
And South Korea will be our second game, and number 2 is they won the Olympics in 08.
So Maya's going to come out with a 2-ball 1-strike count and 2 down.
They're about to see something they didn't like here, huh?
Either that or somebody needed some work out of the bullpen. I'm not sure which that is. We are in the 8th inning. There are 2 down, nobody on, and Japan has the 5-0 lead. Fans here for Mexico. That comes into this second round 2-2. They will play South Korea. That will come in 3-1 in the ball game later here in San Diego. Japan's got the 5-0 lead in this one. Yoennis Cespedes will come out of the bullpen to work with a 2-1 count, and he throws a strike. 2 down, nobody on. Maya worked well, hitting in 2/3 with a couple of strikeouts. Retired all 5 batters that he faced in the game. Cespedes on to try and get the side out. Japan here in the 8th inning. And a timeout taken at the plate. Iwamura, a couple of singles, 2 for 3. Off-speed breaking ball off the end of the bat and fouled away. Start the fans early. There are a lot of people here cheering on Japan. I don't know how many are from Japan, but a lot of people around the Gaslight District here in San Diego last night, this morning, out shopping. Fouled away. It'll stay at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, the one thing we've seen from the Japanese hitters, that ability to spoil pitchers' pitches. That pitch, the put away pitch, that's going to be tough to put in play and get a base hit. They've been able to at least get a piece of it, foul it off, and keep their at-bats alive.
Cespedes making his second appearance, has only worked a 1/3 of an inning in the Classic. He'll be outside. 3-ball, 2-strike count. 6 pitchers have been used today by Cuba, with Chapman, their starter, giving up 3 runs on 3 hits over 2 1/3.
A lot of thought has gone into this Team Cuba pitching roster. You see all the different arm angles, breaking balls, velocities.
Heading foul and not caught.
High 3/4 arm slot on the starter Chapman. Then you go to the drop down lefty who came in behind him. We've seen another lefty who was 3/4, a little more sweeping breaking ball. Now a right-handed that's dropping down on the right side. I know, Steve, as a GM of the Mets, you were a big proponent of having different looks and different features of your relievers in your bullpen.
Now to keep hitters off balance, you don't want them to get locked in on any one particular style. And to get those different looks, I think is critical. Different kinds of stuff to keep the hitters off balance, and different release points to change their eye levels.
31-year-old right-hander delivers and misses outside. Iwamura is on, so 3 out of the 4 times to the plate he has reached base. And the big hand for Ichiro. Still sun-drenched out there in center, and up there on that lawn area where folks can bring blankets and a picnic and watch the ball game on the greenery. Ichiro today has had an 0 for 4. He has scored a run and picked up an RBI in the ball game. There are the numbers for him overall in the Classic. And that is taken down low. Maya gets the walk as he came out of the ball game with a count underway.
Ichiro not really liking the height of that pitch. Hunter Winterstead on that sinking fastball a strike. And Ichiro has to a certain degree become Americanized a little bit with being more vocal in his comments and also talking to umpires.
I think you're so right. I mean,
That's a balk.
He said he didn't stop. It was not a discernible stop before he delivered the ball home. When he came set and checked the runner, he really didn't have a set position. That would be deceiving the runner. Let's take a look. Maybe he came set at a different place, but that was called by the second base umpire. First base umpire being blocked on the set position because of the back of a right-handed hitter. A lot of times you'll see that called by third, second, or the home plate umpire.
No argument about that one. So an RBI chance for Ichiro. Left field. Cepeda in the shadows puts it away. And that will retire the side with a runner left on at second. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning in a 5-0 lead. Japan over Cuba. So we will get another pitching change as we go to the bottom half of the 8th inning. Takahiro Mahara, right-hander, will come out of the bullpen. Iwakuna worked an inning, gave up 1 hit and struck out 2. Combined shutout going into the bottom of the 8th with no runs on 6 hits. Dauseke with a chance to be the winning pitcher, having gone 6 innings as the starter. Arahara has pitched. Sorry,
it's okay.
He has worked in 2 previous games, 2 innings, and has given up a couple of hits, no runs.
Tall, slender young man drives the ball downhill. The typical kind of Far East motion with a little hesitation in there. He's got a sinker and a slider. There's a lot of strikes.
Folks looking from on high. That is in a building across the street, as you can see. Pretty good rooftop view.
Nice right there. Left center field.
Petco Park taking on Wrigley.
Yeah.
For numbers outside the yard watching a game.
Tell you what, it's a great setting for a ball game, for a ballpark. We're right down by the water here. Just a beautiful day.
Yoennis Martin will be the pinch hitter for Cuba, leading it off here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Hitting in the number 9 spot for Paredes, who went 0 for 2 in the ball game. Going to challenge the pitcher early. Ooh, good flip. Great speed right there, and they get Martin.
Well, outstanding play there on that bunch. You want to try to bunt it past the pitcher and make the first baseman and second baseman go for the ball and then beat the pitcher there. But the pitcher, Mahara, gets off the mound quickly, ranges back and flips from the glove, and Aki Uemura, a good heads-up play, knowing he has to get over to cover first base and then get out of the way.
Nice defensive play to get the out. They get the leadoff man here in the bottom half of the inning. And the breaking ball all the way to the backstop. Cespedes up. He has a 1 for 3 on the day, but he's hitting .500. 8 for 16 in the Classic.
I'll tell you what, I got a bad scouting report on this young man. He has 38 saves. He has almost a strikeout an inning over in Japan, and he's throwing the ball 95, 98 miles an hour. I've mixed up my names. This is a guy who has an arm like Chapman, who started for Cuba.
Mahara has some deception to him, too. As he starts to come at you easy, all of a sudden the arm just kind of jumps on you from the hitter's perspective.
2 ball, 1 strike count, Mahara. And he's bringing heat, and that one's going to be rocked into the corner. Cespedes will make the turn and will stay. Aoki gets it in from left field. So a single with 1 down in the 8th inning. Problem for Cuba. They have all been singles, 7 of them in the game. Trying to avoid a shutout as well as get back into this ball game. Michel Enriquez, 1 for 3 in the ball game, a single. Has struck out and grounded out. That's a strike on the outside corner. Just the way he throws, he's got closer written all over.
Sure does.
Led the Pacific League, 38 saves in 07. Oh, 1. He'll miss down low with it. In 4 years for Mahara pitching in Japan. He's pitched in 179 games. He has 258 strikeouts in 267 innings.
And 100 saves.
Runner at first, 1-1. Chance for 2. There's 1. Iwanora. They turn it again. 3rd one today. That'll retire the side, and we'll go to the 9th inning here in San Diego. Japan with a 5-0 lead over Cuba. The shadows fully across the mound as you look here at Petco Park. Japan only 3 outs away from picking up the win here in the 2nd round, leading Cuba by a score of 5-0. They have control, getting 3 in the 3rd, another in the 4th, another in the 5th, and the pitching has shut down this Cuban offense. Japan will get 1 more chance at it offensively here in the 9th inning. Kawasaki has come on as the pinch hitter. And he'll deliver a base hit off the 0-1 pitch. Well, the leadoff man on in the top of the 9th inning.
There are a lot of depth at the shortstop position. I mean, Nakajima, the starting shortstop, didn't even play today. Now we're 3 deep. Kawasaki hit .321 last year, 3rd in the Pacific League. So a lot of threats.
Kawasaki getting his first at bat in this 09 World Baseball Classic.
Well, everybody's an award winner, an MVP, an all-star, a gold glover. Just like with the U.S. team, when you put that many stars together, listing the awards, it comes down now if you have one, but how many?
Aoki only plays at first. He will get the sacrifice. Kawasaki moves down to 2nd base.
Well, the interesting thing is having all-stars for the World Baseball Classic, but for the Olympics, the Japanese team was star-studded as well. They took a player off of each of their major league rosters to participate in the Olympics. Where the USA team sent a group of minor league players over, you know, AAA, 4A level players, guys who might have had a cup of coffee in the major leagues. Japan sent their premium major league roster over there. Now, they did not fare well, and a lot of people thought they were a little bit flat in their performance. But they take international play seriously, and more seriously than the U.S. does, and certainly more seriously than major league teams do in the States.
Well, that is the major theme of competition for teams from Japan, teams from the Caribbean, the national teams. It's in the international play is where they get noticed, where their players get to play the most and the best competition. And in the U.S. that's just so different because the major leagues obviously what dominate what people are watching. Murata with a runner on at second base. Dauseke sacrificed down there. Murata's been hit by a pitch, scored. Has one RBI in the game. Another slow roller. Little tilt to foul territory, and that will be a strike.
Look, Gary, when I was general manager for the Mets, I had the privilege to sign a number of Asian players to come in and play. And what I found universally is they all wanted to talk about where their position in the baseball world is. Now, he could be a dancer as well. He's auditioning, I think, for Dancing with the Stars right there. That's flexibility on the mound. But what players want to do, they want to find their place in the baseball world. That's what the Asian players said when they come to the States. I know I fit in Japan, but I want to see where I fit in the entire baseball world. But they also have that feeling when it comes to international play and that competition that the U.S. players don't have that same level of interest.
Another foul ball. Well, there's no question that for teams outside the United States playing baseball, every international league tournament is like an Olympic event for them. That is not true for the United States. And as you're saying, Steve, even the Olympics are not an Olympic event when it comes to U.S. baseball. There's an effort now to get both softball and baseball back into the Olympics down the road because now it is no longer an event in Olympic play. See what happens with that. 1-2 delivery way outside. 2-ball, 2-strike count. One down, runner at second.
It's going to take more than the players saying, you know, we've had enough black eyes. Let's really put our best foot forward and really train and get ready for this and get excited. I think they give it very good lip service. I think they really like the fact that they can play meaningful games at this time because spring training can get boring. But are they really completely committed, and is it a priority? And is it a priority for all the organizations, the general managers and ownership?
That one lifted into center field is going to be a base hit. Dauseke will make the turn and will score. And a 6-0 lead. Murata gets his second RBI of the game.
I think that's still going to be growing pains of this. And I think this is going to last for a long, long time, maybe forever. And this will be the World Baseball Classic, and it will be a world event. But we will continue to see who takes it seriously and who grows and says, enough black eyes, we're not going to get embarrassed. We're going to show this is really our game. And the U.S. is still in it, but that loss to Puerto Rico was embarrassing, and we'll see if they can respond.
It is a 6-0 lead. We will be sorry to see the next member of Cirque du Soleil leave the mound because I can't say we have seen a follow-through like that in coverage of baseball. 6 runs on 12 hits now for Japan as they continue to dominate in this ball game. We were in the 9th inning, 1 down with a runner on at first base. And all the fans here for Japan continue to cheer as they have done from the start of this game. Will be there for what should be an interesting ball game. As USA, that is a must-win for both of those teams to stay alive. And the Netherlands have been the Cinderella story, somehow finding a way to win ball games. That one's going to get away. A pass ball, I would suspect. Murata will move down to second base.
It's not been a good game for the battery of Team Cuba. It's been rough behind the plate for the catching. The pitchers have been erratic. That's really the difference in this game. It's 6-0. So many singles by Team Japan and opportunities that they've capitalized on with little ball. But really those opportunities have been given to them from the catching and the pitching.
They called that a wild pitch. Swung on and missed as we're taking a look at Vladimir Garcia, who has come out of the bullpen to do the pitching to try and finish it off here. But refusing to go here in the 9th inning easily. Japan. They've got another runner in scoring position. And that's going to miss down low.
I watch Olga Sawara here in the batter's box. He has his hands extended far from his body, out over the plate in the strike zone. When you see a hitter like that kind of approach, is your thought to bust him inside?
But we really watch. You see where they start, but when the front foot lands, of course, we want to see where he launches the bat from. So I think he pulls them in. So when he pulls him in like that, they start away, pulls him in. I would pitch him away. I would think that then you make him do the third movement, which is he starts out, goes in, and then I'd make him push the bat back away from him to get the away pitch. And once he got that rhythm, I'd bust him in.
Ogasawara has had a couple of base hits in the ball game and a walk. 4 times up, 3 times on. And that one is taken for a strike. He just got fooled on that one. Garcia able to get the out, and there are 2 down. So here at Petco Park, we're in the 9th inning of the opening game of this pool, and right now Japan dominating with a 6-0 lead over Cuba. It is a double elimination, so both of these teams will get a shot still to come out of this pool as a winner and head into the semifinals. For those of you who may be looking for that USA game against the Netherlands, that is going to begin on ESPN Classic. ESPN Classic for the start of that game from Miami. Hanabi Atsunori coming on as a pinch hitter. Runner on at second base, 2 down, and will foul that one back. So Japanese team here giving some of the players who have watched a chance to get in the ball game here in the 9th inning and pick up an at-bat.
This is like, you know, when Jimmy Rollins comes in for Derek Jeter with Team USA. Right. I mean, this is not, these are not replacements. These are all-stars. It's amazing the ability that's on the field.
Big cut on an inside heater and an 0-2 count with 2 down.
Nothing wrong with having a guy who hit .301 last year with 20 home runs, drove in 82 runs coming off the bench, right?
In 144 games in the Japanese season.
Inaba DHs at times for the Japanese team.
That would be a deep bench. The delivery to him, and that is taken up high for a ball. So Inaba's got a chance for an RBI if he can pick up a base hit here. He has had 8 at bats, the 1 for 8. Looking for his first RBI. Sorry. No, I'm not. I was right the first time. Looking for his first RBI. I was going to be sorry, but the heck with it. Swung on and chopped towards second base. Ariel will make the quick toss over to first, and that will do it. So Cuba's got 3 outs to work with as we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. And Japan right now shutting out the Cubans 6-0. Back here in San Diego, bottom of the 9th inning, with Japan 3 outs away from going 1-0 and a victory over Cuba if they can get it here. Again, if you are looking for the Kingdom of the Netherlands game against the United States, that's on ESPN Classic. That ball game just getting underway in Miami. Yes, it is the Kingdom of the Netherlands.
It's on Classic, but I hope it doesn't become a classic with Netherlands beating the USA.
Do not expect an easy game there.
No instant classic, please.
Fujikawa has come out of the bullpen for Japan. Try and finish up this ball game. Cuba will have 3, 4, 5 in the order with Cepeda to lead it off. He's had a couple of singles, 2 for 3 in the game, and now 8 for 15 in the Classic here in 09. And the off-speed pitch fools everybody. It bounces to the backstop.
Like it might have been a curveball, and Jojima wasn't looking for the breaking ball because that was a pretty good pitch right there. But you see the numbers right there. One of the preeminent closers in Japan, 38 saves last year for the Hanshin Tigers.
Fujikawa 1-0. It's that one hard and inside. He's worked in a couple of ball games in the Classic, 2 innings. He's given up no runs on 1 hit, 1 walk, and 1 strikeout. It's good work by all 4 of the pitchers who have worked in this ball game for Japan, with Dauseke chance to win it. 5 hits over 6 innings and no runs, and the 4 going for a combined shutout here in this game. One. That'll catch the strike zone. 2 ball, 2 strike count. We're in the bottom of the 9th.
Coming into this, with the 4 teams we're seeing here in San Diego in round 2, we thought Japan would be the favorite. And I think, Team Cuba was going to be very strong, but we still thought Japan, and watching everybody work out yesterday, was going to be the favorite. And they've kind of proven that here in game 1. We thought that Mexico may be the underdog because of the weakness in their pitching. With Oliver Perez going tonight, we'll see if he can redeem himself from his outing. They have Elmer Descends on the team. Rodrigo Lopez coming back from Tommy John surgery to help their pitching. So we will see how South Korea and Mexico turn out. But in that matchup, we thought maybe Korea might turn out to be the stronger team.
2-ball, 2-strike count. Timeout asked for at the plate by Cepeda. Remember, this team from Cuba, 3-0 coming into this second round. They have never been shut out in the 2 World Baseball Classics. The one in 06, they were not, nor were they in the 3 games they played in the first round here in 09. I mean, this is a Cuban team known for some pretty darn good bats. Saw an interesting quote that came from Florida Marlins Jorge Cantu. He said, of the Cuban team, every single one of them could be in the big leagues. It is unbelievable, which just highlights the job done by the pitching staff for Japan in this game. 2-2. Breaking ball in the dirt.
That or Jorge's not a very good scout.
Well, I have to tell you, you know what? The Japanese pitchers today, I mean, you take Dauseke out of the mix because we know Dauseke Matsuzaka, but Iwakuma, Mahara, and now Fujikawa, you can see their stuff. Live fastballs. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing that's been very interesting. The life of the fastballs for the Japanese pitchers compared to some of the other games we did in Puerto Rico and some of the games I've seen on TV. These guys have good live arms.
3-2 delivery to him and rocketed in the air towards the corner in right field, and that will go all the way to the wall. Ichiro back to get it, and there's a double. Cepeda gets a 2-bagger to lead off the 9th inning, the first extra base hit for Cuba in the game.
Now, one of the easiest pitches to see when the optics aren't very good with all the shadows is that high fastball. You see it, it's close to your eyes, it doesn't usually move, it's straight as a string. So when you have a chance as a pitcher to take advantage of the light the way it is right now, you want to throw things that are low and things that are moving and changing speeds. You don't want to be throwing that high fastball thinking you're going to sneak it by somebody, because that's the one they're prepared for, because they can actually see it.
Cepedes just having a magnificent World Baseball Classic. He's got 9 hits now and 16 at bats. He's on at second base. Peraza up. Cuba at least trying to avoid the shutout here in this first game. Peraza's gone 0 for 3, couple of strikeouts and a fly ball out, and somehow has not wrenched his back in his swings.
Well, I mean, listen, that philosophy of swing hard in case you hit it, well, he's the living proof. He swings hard, but he really has a groove swing. He's got that one pitch, kind of a fastball, kind of belt high inside that he can drive. Anything else up or down or away, he's going to have some difficulty on.
0-1 count to him, and he will take the breaking ball outside.
Well, he kind of reminds me of somebody that I'd like to pitch to, really. That you really think that in BP he was very impressive, and this is a completely different hitter during the game, almost like a softball swing, like, you know, I'm just hoping you throw it in my area.
Took a little off that one. Yosvani Peraza is 29 years old. He's got 15 homers, 40 RBIs in the Cuban League this season. 15 homers.
You take a look at that pitch, and you look where Peraza's front foot goes. From where he starts and then strides, he opens up immediately with his front hip and shoulder, really leaving only the inner third of the plate, his ability to be able to reach with the bat. Watch where his front hip and foot land as he strides.
1 ball, 2 strike count, runner at second. Known as Big Papi of Cuba, he heads back to the bench. On away.
Well, even Big Papi has a bad day every once in a while.
Well, he gets beat here on this fastball. He's trying to keep that front side in here, but then it slows his bat down. So really the timing of his swing is coming off that front side to get it started. But if he gets it started too soon, he's got a speedy bat, but he doesn't have any plate coverage.
Gurriel with one away, bottom of the 9th inning. Fujikawa's look at second base, and the breaking ball in for a strike. 1 for 3 in the game for Gurriel. He is considered to be the best on this ball club as far as overall play is concerned. Only 24 years old. Says he would rather play at third base than any other position. He's at second base in this game. Breaking ball he ducks, but not close.
Gurriel is his mannerisms at the plate in the field remind me so much of Derek Jeter. Just the way he walks. He's got a certain strut to his walk. The way he carries himself, the way he throws the ball. A lot of Derek Jeter mannerisms, a real presence in his game, athleticism.
Hitting .354 in league play in Cuba right now as they take their break midway through their season for the World Baseball Classic. 2 ball, 1 strike count.
His father's actually the hitting coach for the Cuban team. Lourdes is the hitting coach, Lourdes Gurriel, and a former superstar player there, beloved by Cuban baseball fans. One of the kind of baseball royalty of the Gurriel family in Cuba.
Runner off second for the 2-1. Getting to swing over that one, and a 2 ball, 2 strike count.
That's a nasty split finger or fork ball, gyro ball, whatever name you want to put on it. It has tight rotation and dives down when it gets close to the plate.
Chicago with a 2 ball, 2 strike count. Dauseke had 8 strikeouts. Iwakuna picked up a couple. That'll be foul back. 1 so far recorded here in the 9th inning. Fujikawa's. So it's been a tough day for the lineup of Cuba. Not only getting the hits as he's got the first extra base hit. Cepeda with a double leading off the 9th. There has not been a walk surrendered by the 4 pitchers from Japan. Gurriel waiting. Here's the 2-2 and another.
Fastball just tough to pick it up. We talked about high fastballs. You throw it low and away with that lighting, it's going to be hard to hit. Gurriel, kind of a long swing, got a huge coil in that swing. It seems to have worked over the years, but that is a very hard swing to time with, and he's got to be a tremendous athlete to do that.
Despaigne takes that to the gap towards left center field, and that's the ball game. Fukudome over to get it. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on. A combined shutout as Japan 6-12 and 2. 0-8 and 0 for Cuba.
Japan breaks on top. Outstanding pitching performance. All zeros, only giving up 8 hits.
Outstanding offensive approach from Japan. Cuba needing to regroup a little bit offensively and with the pitching.
The ERA for Japan in the Classic now is .79. They have given up just 3 earned runs in 34 innings. So Japan wins this one. Now we're going to take you for a vital game. The Netherlands and the U.S. standing by. For Oral Hershiser, Steve Phillips, and Orestes Destrada, I'm Gary Thorne. Thanks for being with us here. Now let's go to Miami. Dave O'Brien and Rick Sutcliffe.